Two brave voices on a glowing screen, sharing hope where the world's unseen. Echoes, laughter lights the day. Lucy's wisdom guides the way. With every word they break the chains, turning struggles into gains. Echo and Lucy, lifting hearts so high. Through the storm they're the clear blue sky. On their YouTube chat, the healing's real. Every soul they touch begins to heal. Echo and Lucy, shining true, helping the world, helping you. Stories told, the tears unwind. They listen close, they're gentle, kind. Every comment feels like home. No one ever stands alone. Dreams get mended, fears release. Through their voices, pain finds peace. Echo and Lucy, lifting hearts so high. Through the storm, they're the clear blue sky. On their YouTube chat, the healing's real. Every soul they touch begins to heal. Echo and Lucy, shining true, helping the world, helping you. When the night feels heavy and the world feels cold, their words are fire, their stories gold. They remind us all we can stand again, with kindness, courage, and a loving friend. Echo and Lucy, lifting hearts so high. Through the storm, they're the clear blue sky. On their YouTube chat, the healing's real. Every soul they touch begins to heal. Echo and Lucy, shining true, helping the world, helping you. Helping you, helping me too. Echo and Lucy, the light comes through.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone. Welcome.
You saw Beans, huh? He's even
I'm
in
going to say yes, Beans and Boo both have got to be in there, along with my dog, Chloe.
Yes.
They are so much a part of our lives. So, yes, we have to have them. So, welcome, everybody. I see Stephanie and Regina was here, said she'll be right back. And Rebounding with Cheryl is here. Thank you so much, Cheryl. And Chu is here.
I see Chu. I see Stephanie. I see other restraint.
Yes, our I always want to say romper room. Is that what it's
That's what it
called?
was.
Romper room? Okay.
That's what it was.
Yes. That takes us back, boy, in our childhood days.
Right?
So this
The
is
doobies and the don't bees.
yes. This is Self Care Sundays, and this is the beautiful Body Illusion, my beautiful guest host for Self Care Sundays. And we are on, this is episode what, 34, I believe.
That means 17 times we've been together.
So 17 times we've been
This is
live
our
because
17th
every other week I just put out a video as a premiere. And then the opposite Sundays we do the live. So, yeah, 17 times we have talked about self care. Are y'all tired of talking about self care? I hope not. And I hope that today y'all are going to talk to us, going to share with us what you do for self care. And Body Illusion has prepared a presentation for us. We are going to talk about some things, but y'all please put in the chat questions, comments, anything like that so that we can have a good conversation. All right. It says
I pulled it up. Do you want to share?
Yeah. Let me see if I can get it to come up.
Okay. There it is.
There it is.
How to create a self-care plan. See, we've talked about self-care, and we've talked about how it works for Echo, and we've talked about how it works for everybody. But how do you really get started? That's the thing. It's like there's so many different directions, don't you think?
Yes. And there's so many things that it can entail, and you have to tailor it to fit something you're going to actually do. It can't be things that you're not going to do, because then guess what? It's not helping you any.
Well, and again, things like that. What works for Echo is wonderful, but that doesn't mean that particular way is going to work for you. So you have to find your own path, just like everything else. You have to find your own path. So we'll see what kind of ideas we've got going on here. Okay. It all starts with creating a plan that you can go to when you need it. Yeah. So starting a plan, that's the big thing. Where do we start that plan? Okay, so you'd want to decide what your goals are, right?
And I think when
The raid is coming.
Stephanie said Star was live, so I think they're coming over from Stars.
Oh, wonderful.
But for me, even just saying I was going to try to take care of myself was a big thing. I had to, like say, okay, I'm really going to start doing things for myself. And so setting self-care goals was not easy for me. I mean, a lot of people, I think you already know what self-care is, and things that you need to be doing. But I really didn't really know what I was going to do, how I was going to go about it. Hello, Marie.
That's Facebook Mom.
Facebook Mom. Hello from Canada. Welcome in.
But, you're saying you needed to do it. Okay, right there was a goal. Even though you didn't have specifics, just saying that was a goal,
Right.
It doesn't have to be exact until you figure out which direction you want to go, But yeah, just making that commitment and saying, hi, Tia, just making that commitment. It says a lot.
Blue. Yes. And sometimes that can be self-care in itself. Just saying, okay,
it's time for me.
Mm-hmm. Make the time to take care of yourself. Yeah.
Take care of yourself physically, psychologically, and the health. Take care of your physical and psychological health. Okay. What does that look like? What does that look like to you guys?
Yeah, because a lot of times when we talk about self-care, people think it's, facials and massages and, spa treatments and that kind of thing. But actually, you're more than just your physical body. We have a mind and we have emotions. Hello, Star. Thank you for coming. Hello, Regina. And that's something I didn't really think about, that I have to do the psychological self-care as well.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to look. Self-care is more than skin deep.
Yes.
Definitely.
That's a good way to put it.
Manage and reduce stress. Now, how do we do that? Well, how do we manage and reduce stress? How do you do it, Echo?
Well, first I had to realize that when you've had emotional trauma, just things happen in your life, you are living like in a state of survival, and you're in like a a fight or flight kind of mode. You're not actually just living your life as most people do. And so to even realize that I was under stress and what stress does to the body, that was the first thing I really had to look at. And then I had to figure out, like, what could I do to limit that stress? And
Right.
one of the things, that I learned how to do was to meditate. And I never thought I would ever be able to do that, because just being quiet was uncomfortable to me.
Right.
And so to actually say, okay, I'm going to take the next, like 10 minutes and I'm going to be quiet and I'm going to just let my thoughts go. It was uncomfortable. It was like,
Mhm.
it's like I should be doing something in that time.
Right.
And so just to be able to say, you know what, it's okay to slow down and to stop and just pause for a few minutes.
Take
That
a
has
big deep breath.
Yeah, take a deep breath. Even just throughout your day, you get a little anxious or a little feeling overwhelmed, just stop and do some breathing. Hello, Sue from the Bud Files. Welcome in. Which is something I never really thought about. And I had a lot of breathing issues when I was overweight, or more overweight, I should say. And I never thought about it, but I breathed very, very shallow. And that contributes to you not getting a lot of oxygen throughout your body. And so it's like when you actually realize that, hey, if I would slow down a minute and actually take some deep breaths, then it calms you down.
Yeah.
And you feel totally different, just in your normal becomes a totally different normal.
That's the reason they call them cleansing breaths. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Well, and you mentioned fight or flight. See, and during my situation, there's three of them. There's fight, flight, or freeze. And I was in the freeze. I
Mhm.
would just freeze. I would just shut down and just, okay, I can't do anything right. So I'm just going to clam up, Mine was the freeze. So to get out of that frozen mode, yeah, I'm still working on it. I'm still unpacking. I call it unpacking.
Aren't we all, though?
Yeah, but that's what it takes. And
It's
it doesn't matter when you start it,
no,
just as
and
long as you take little steps towards unpacking. Yeah.
it's like we've said, hello, Miss Edna. Like we've said
Mhm.
before, healing is like peeling an onion. You think you get the worst of it gone, and that just brings up more. And so it's like as you heal certain things, you're able to go a little deeper and heal a little more. And
Yeah.
and you have to just keep peeling that away. And it's like people will think, well, I just want to get it over with. I want to heal and move on. Well,
Yeah.
you will,
I don't
but
want to feel like this anymore. I don't
yeah,
want to feel like this anymore.
you won't feel like that anymore, but you may feel something else that you didn't even know was bothering you. And that's the beauty of it, is that you don't have to deal with everything at one time. You can
Yeah.
take it,
Mm,
as it
mm,
comes up little by little. And
yeah.
then eventually you'll get to the point to where you can say, okay, this is something I need to deal with, but
Mhm.
not right now. I'm going to put it over here. I'm going to keep going this way, but you may keep coming back to that thing and be like, yeah, I'm going to have to deal with that eventually, but I haven't dealt with it yet. Hello,
Yeah.
Lee from Anfield Road Layout in the Loft. Welcome in, sir. How are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't done a unpacking video in a while. So this morning I got up and I went, you know what? I think I need to do some more unpacking. It's getting heavy again. The suitcase is getting heavy. So, but we all need to unpack every once in a while. You know what I mean? So let's see what else it has to say. Manage stress. There you go. Recognize your emotional and spiritual needs. Now, on that note, spiritual needs means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. Hi, chef. Means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. And emotional is a lot of different things to a lot of different people. So I think when it comes to spiritual needs, I think it's a personal thing. And I think everybody does their spiritual healing in their own way. They may, gather together, but I still say it's an individual thing, if that makes sense. Everybody has to
Marie,
do it in their own
Marie,
growth. What's
Marie
that?
said, I'm gonna put this up, what Marie just said, because it's a very good point. Just like peeling an onion, there will be tears along the healing journey.
Yes.
And whew, you got to just be brave enough to look at it. You don't have to handle it all at one time, but you got to be brave enough to start somewhere and start looking at it. And that's a very
Well,
good
Marie,
point.
you've seen me cry my eyes out before. So, yeah, it does. Yeah.
And as far
It
as the spiritual needs go, I really think, like you said, it is very personal. And everybody has their own core values and beliefs. And that is all something that, we have our own right to. And
Mhm.
how you're going to live your life and how you're going to deal with things that have happened to you is something you have to figure out for yourself. As far as the emotional part of it, like when the way I was raised, you don't need to have emotion. It's like, shh, don't talk about it, don't get upset, don't. And then when you actually start to heal and you figure out, hey, wait a minute, I have a right to have emotion.
Yeah.
So I think part of that is just giving yourself permission to feel the feelings that you
Feel.
have. There's no right or wrong when it comes to feeling those emotions.
Yeah.
And I
Just
think
feel.
you have to give yourself permission to do that.
And that's it. Just let your be proud of who you are, right or wrong, and learn from it. Foster and I can't even say the word.
Sustain,
Sustain
sustain.
relationships.
Yes.
Hello, we are here. And we have
one
this
thing,
place, we have the village, we have so many beautiful relationships and communities that
yeah.
all kind of blend together and just make a beautiful thing.
And for me, I always questioned my relationships. I never could just say, oh, that's a nice person. They're nice. We'll be friends. It was always, what
Mhm.
do you want from me? Why are you being nice to me? And it took me a long time to realize that there are good people in the world who genuinely can care about you and just want to be your friend. But you have to do that as well. You can't.
How about how about this one? How about this one? When you get a compliment, you look at them and you feel like you're just blowing smoke up my skirt.
Mhm.
How about that one?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And it's almost as if you get to the point to where you're like, oh no, don't give me a compliment. Mm-mm-mm.
Yeah, I don't want to hear it.
And you can't
Hi.
even accept it. Hi B. You can't even accept it in the way that the person means it. And the person may
Right.
genuinely be giving you a compliment and you take it as a negative, not as a positive. And I was
Yeah,
the same way with
if I get a compliment, the first thing that comes to my hand is sure, right.
hmm
Sure, right. And I move on. You know what I mean? I
and I
mean, what
used to
comes out of
be
my mouth may be one thing, but in my head, it's like, yeah, sure, right. Okay, whatever. I hope that made you feel better.
yeah. But when you actually can take a compliment from someone, then it actually makes you realize that maybe you can give somebody a compliment and genuinely mean it as well. Because I think we kind of live in that state of well, let me not, let me say what you want to hear. Let me tell you what you want to hear, not what I really think. And
Okay.
so, after a while, I find that I get close enough to somebody to where I'm like, okay, don't tell me what I want to hear. Tell me what you really think about it,
Yeah.
And once, for me, once I get to that point in a friendship, that I can actually maybe take constructive criticism or take suggestions without trying to, oh, how dare you say that about me or whatever. It's like, oh, so you really care about me and you think this would be good. So let me look at it that way instead of
Right.
looking at it from, okay, you're really insulting me and
Yeah. You're
criticizing
just
me,
criticizing me.
you know.
You're
Yeah.
just criticizing. But I've never had the problem of giving people compliments that I really mean. I've never had that problem. I don't think I've ever really had. Like if I see a beautiful blouse, I'm going to tell you, you know what? You have a beautiful, that is beautiful and it looks good on you. And some people look at me like you're kind of crazy, but I do. I stop my world and I tell, oh, those are cute shoes. I'll be in the grocery store when I could go to the grocery store. And I would look at them and go, those are the cutest shoes. And they would look at me like, but they were cute. And I saw them. And, anyway, so giving compliments was easy. Maybe it was I gave them because I wanted to hear them in my heart myself. I don't know.
Mm.
I don't know. Maybe that's what it was, that I was so easily giving compliments. But I always gave compliments.
Or maybe you
I
were
always
trying
thought
to convince
people,
yourself.
huh?
Maybe you were trying to convince yourself that the way you feel about giving somebody else a compliment is how somebody really meant the compliment to you.
Maybe.
Like
Maybe.
you were trying to, like, okay, it makes me uncomfortable, but yet it could be nice if I believed it.
Right.
Because I think that's what I had to do. I think I had to stop being on the defensive and questioning why somebody is saying it, to just taking what they're saying and being like, oh, well, that was nice. Okay, I'll take that, you know?
Yeah.
And
And
I
there was
think
never
it,
a reason why they were saying it. I was just figured they were just blowing smoke.
yeah,
They were just blowing smoke. Just, still to this day, I can't. But that's
Miss Edna says,
giving
giving
them is
them,
different from receiving them. Yes, it is. It is.
it is.
And yeah, but it's still the same, you know. Maybe it was a way for me to, I don't know, maybe start to understand that I could accept them if I gave them out more and see their response. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I was trying to learn that. I don't know. Let's see what else. See what else we got going on here, Ethel.
Okay.
Okay.
Whew.
Achieve balance in different areas of your life. There you go. The word balance throws me off.
Me too. As soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, this is a big one. Okay. Um,
Because I don't know about you, Echo, but I always went overboard in a direction, you know, like when I at work, I mean, I was, like you were lead, like boss. And so I had all the team. Then I did all the team builds once a month. And then all the leads got together and I did all of those. And then I did all the part. And then, I mean, it was, I bet you I put in 16 hours a day, 6 days a week in that job. You know what I mean? I mean, I loved it, but time for me, there wasn't any. Then by the time you do the laundry and the cleaning and and get ready for work again, that's
well, I was just going to say, for
if it's a
me,
secret. Like,
my whole identity was
what's what?
what I did for other people. It's like I was a mom, I was a wife, I was somebody's employee. I never really thought about, I'm also a person, I'm also a woman, you know. And so I had to kind of learn that too when
I love you, B.
you know, things in my life changed to where I wasn't some of those things anymore. So what was I left with? Well, who was I? What was I? And I think it's very easy to get in that people pleasing kind of role, to where it's so much easier to try to make somebody else happy instead of trying to make yourself happy. And it's easier to do what people want you to do for them instead of, okay, what do I want to do? What would make me happy in this situation? It's like, no, I don't want to even think about me. Let me think about helping this other person. Let's
Hang
see
on.
what B is
B, 3 emojis. That's all they'll let you do.
saying. Echo and body illusion.
And then Nightbot gets upset here. Okay. You didn't do anything wrong. It's just Nightbot doesn't like more than 3 emojis. That's all.
Yes, thank you, B. That's one thing that I think why we make such a great team and great friends is because we are very different. We come from very different backgrounds, different situations, and wouldn't life be boring if everybody was the same? If let's just all do everything the same. I think it would be so boring. I love the difference in different people in different situations.
Yeah.
But thank
Yeah.
you for that beautiful compliment.
Echo and I have talked behind the scenes, and I've told her a little of my story of my, 20s and 30s and stuff. And she's like, I'm like, told you we were totally different,
Well, for
totally.
a long time, you just would say, we come from different places, different. And I was like, okay. And then when she finally trusted me enough to actually start telling me things, then I was like, oh, you were right. That is. So, and that's part of it too, is that you can't have a belief that everybody is the same, like that we're raised the same, that we have the same beliefs, the same wants and desires. Each one of us is a product of what we've gone through. And so that's different for every person. Even my sister and I, at one point, I said to my sister, how did we grow up in the same house with the same parents, and yet we see things totally different?
Yeah.
And that's because we're different people. And
Yes.
each person is affected by what they go through in a different way. And if you think that everybody thinks the way you do and understands what you understand and know what you know, you're going to be missing out on beautiful people because you're just going to assume they're one way when they may not be that way at all.
Right. Or they've been down your path, or they don't understand your path.
Right.
And that's another reason why healing is also a different path for every single person.
Right.
Because you're healing different things, you're in different spaces of the healing. So it's, and then you can be healing and then something will poof, kick you right back. And it's like, okay, now I've got to pull myself up again and put on, excuse my language, put on my big girl panties and start.
But you know what I have found? That all of us need support and need somebody that we can talk to. So it doesn't matter how different you are or, where we come from. When you meet somebody that you actually can build a friendship with and build a trust to be able to unload, unpack, as you say, it's a beautiful thing. But it doesn't happen often.
And that's how Body Illusion started, the channel started. I didn't have anybody to talk to. I didn't have anybody to talk to, no one. Mm-hmm. So what I did was I clicked it, record, and I just started talking to a camera. And I went, I don't know if anybody hears me. I'm not worried about anybody hearing me. I've got to say this out loud. And that's how Body Illusion. Yes, support is very important. I'm going to mute here because Beans is going to squeak.
Uh-oh. Time for Beans to get a toy.
Okay, he hasn't started squeaking yet. He hasn't found the squeaker, so we're good so far.
But you're right, Regina. And sometimes all you need is somebody to listen to you. You don't need them to give you advice. You don't need them to try to fix anything. You just need to have, be able to say it. And a lot of the time, I go around here talking to myself because that's how I work things out. I
Yes.
have this whole big elaborate conversation with myself, you know.
You remember the
But
day? Yeah.
I have people I can call, and I have people that I can say, I'm in a tough spot right now and I really need to talk to somebody. Or I can be that person for somebody else. But talking about this, about balance, you got to decide, first of all, what's important to you, and then
Exactly.
figure out how to balance that in your life. And
Back to the original. What are your goals? And then figure out how to balance them.
yeah,
So yeah, you're not overwhelmed, and you don't want to. And I'm sorry to say this, you don't want to do it all at once.
no,
And Echo said it earlier. You don't want to do it all at once. Don't jump in with both feet. It'll be overwhelming. Um, Peeling an onion, as Facebook Mom says, peeling an onion, you will cry. You won't be able to put enough water in you for
well,
the
and I
water that
think
will be coming out. Don't hurt
I
yourself.
think too,
Do it.
we want it to be fast. We want us to, we want to like identify the problem, because this is how we are. We want to fix it for everybody else. So you want to identify the problem, and then you want to figure out a way to fix it, and then you want to do that thing. But when you have a bunch of different things going on all at the same time, you have to pick each one out and be like, okay, I could do this 5 minutes a day to help me with this problem. But then I, still have all this over here. And I think once you start looking at each little thing, different things you do will actually help with other areas. Like with
Yeah,
me in the
the kind of the
meditation
domino kind of thing
and being
where
able to relax also helped me with being able to sleep better, and also being able to not be uncomfortable being still made it to where, because what I would do is I would say, okay, I'm going to bed, 10 o'clock, I'm in the bed. But I go in the bed and I'm like, okay, fall asleep. And it doesn't happen. And then my mind starts going and I start thinking about all this stuff. Then I get up. Let's do some of that stuff for tomorrow, today, so you don't have to worry about it tomorrow. And then now I'm wide awake and there's no way I'm going to sleep.
yeah.
Now when I go to bed, even if I fall asleep in my chair, it's basically the same thing. I will just sit there and I will say, you're tired. Just sit here a minute and relax. And,
Don't worry about it.
if you can go to sleep, go on and go to sleep. And if you don't go to sleep, that's okay. But I don't sit there and be like, well, I'll do this until I get tired, or I'll do that. It's like, I'll just say, you know what, maybe you just need to take a minute and see if you can go to sleep. Because if you go to sleep, then you can. And sometimes I like being somebody's live and I fall asleep because I've sat there long enough that now I'm relaxed, I'm calm, and I go to sleep.
Mhm.
Stephanie is notorious to tell me, you had bingo, but you were gone. It's like, I was asleep. It's like I was having a great time, and I got sat there and got still and got comfortable, and off to sleep I went. And sometimes I could sleep the whole night and wake up in the morning. Sometimes I'll wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and be like, okay, I fell asleep at 7, so now I'm awake at 4. But
Mhm.
being able to stop and just take a minute and say, it's okay if you are tired enough and you go to sleep. It's okay. There's nothing pressing. We don't have nothing we have to get done. It's okay to do that. And so now I sleep a lot better. But before, no, I didn't go to sleep until I literally ran out of gas. you know.
Yeah.
Then it was like, and it wouldn't matter how long. Like even when I was going and getting the baby at 5 o'clock in the morning, this is embarrassing to have to admit, but there were times it
But
was
she's going to do it anyway, folks. She's going to do it
yeah,
anyway.
but it would be 3 o'clock in the morning, and I hadn't been to sleep yet, and I would be like, you have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I would barely be asleep, and my alarm would go off.
Mhm.
And I would get up and I would go get the baby and I would spend all day with her, and you can't function like that. And that's
Yeah.
part of self-care is realizing that your body needs rest. I never thought about it as something I needed. And now
Yeah.
I do.
Well, and then like people, that I worked with, I would do volunteer work, and we went to the beaches and cleaned the beaches. They had one day a year where they would all go out and clean the beaches. Of all the any clean the beaches. It's amazing the things you see. We won't get into that. But and then some years I would go, the same thing, and I would go clean the parks and stuff like that. And people I worked with goes, I just don't have the time. I just don't have the time. And I looked at him and I went, if you want to do it, you'll find the time. And that's my philosophy was, it doesn't matter if you have the time, do it. And so I would just be completely exhausted doing all these things. I love doing them. Don't get me wrong, but I never stopped to think, do you want to stop and take a breath? Do you want to just sit and watch a movie? It was always constant. Okay, they want me to do this, so I'm going to do this. So I'm going to figure out how to squish this into my time frame. And I always thought, if you really want to do it, you could squish it in there. And I would squish all kinds of stuff in there. And you were the same way, right? You worked
Yeah.
nights, you had a baby, you got her to school, you got her home from school, you got her, did her homework with her, and still had 3 meals on the table.
Yeah. There was a lot of times that, I operated with hardly any sleep.
Yeah.
And how I never had a bad accident or something like that, I don't know.
Thank
Because
goodness for automatic pilot.
I mean, I should have with, how I operated. But then again, it's all in how you think about it.
Right.
If you were, I was forced to take naps. I was forced to have a bedtime. It's like all those things that happen in your childhood, it makes you want to rebel when you're an adult. Like, I'll sleep when I want to sleep. It's like nobody's going to tell me to go to sleep.
Well, and I always thought taking naps was for old folks. No, I'm not. No, I'm not old. I don't need a nap. I don't care if I only got 2 hours of sleep last night. I'm not old. I don't need a nap. Only old folks nap. Trust me, everybody needs a nap, and it's nice. A power nap is nice. It is
But
nice.
you know what? We don't look at our energy. You want to operate at high energy and be able to be physical and do things. Just because you're still upright and moving does not mean you have good energy.
Right.
You could be just about out and yet you're still going.
Right.
Now I'm like, sometimes I'll even plan, like if I know I'm going to be up late, or if I know I'm going to do something that I want to make sure I'm, full of energy or whatever, I might take a nap. I might plan a little to sleep late one morning or something like that, Whereas, and especially if I'm sick, before I was the one that was always at work sick, and people would be like, thanks for bringing it to us at work, but I can't let people down. I can't not go to work. Now it's like,
I would go with a fever, sick, and a dog. I would show up for work.
Mhm.
I would show up for work, and they're going, and of course, corporate's going, you're not supposed to show up for work when you're sick, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, yeah, but who's going to do, and this is it, who's going to do what I do?
Yep.
Baby, you're just a cog. you know, but it's like, who's going to do what I do? And how is it going to get done? And, you know, it's just and then you're not working to top because your brain's not working. You're sick. Yeah.
You're sick. Yeah.
You're sick. Yeah. I
Miss
never
Edna,
used to take naps. I barely do now. Oh, okay. Well,
Miss Edna said, for me, sleeping was a punishment. However, now I am the sleeping queen. Yeah. I mean, I
for
can
you.
remember trying to fake my mom out and like go in there and be quiet for 10 minutes and then come out, oh, I slept so good, you know. And she'd be like, no, you haven't even been to sleep. Get back in there, you know. So it's like I understand that feeling like it's a punishment, like it was a restriction, like I had to, you know.
Oh,
Instead
I've
of
always
now,
been a
it's like
sleeper.
it's to me, it's a privilege that I get to sleep. But
Yeah.
even when I quit working, and here I am, you know, I had nothing going on, no job, no baby yet, you know, I could have been sleeping all the time. But it was like I was so worried and keyed up about everything that I couldn't sleep, you know.
Yeah. Oh, I was always a sleeper. Always a sleeper. So if I was short, I was one of those. It didn't matter how old I was. I get cranky. I did that. So let's see what the next one says.
All right.
Let's see. It says step 2: consider the dimensions of wellness. Consider the dimensions of wellness. We were just talking about that. And
Yeah.
it's not physical and it's not mental. It's both. Wellness is your complete body, you know, overall wellness. But as who was it said that? Oh, Miss Edna. Yeah, she always went to work too. You know,
Hmm.
we didn't stop to take care of ourselves.
No.
You know,
It was a
I mean,
weakness. Being sick was a weakness.
it was a weakness.
Yeah.
Mhm. Well, and I was a waitress. So if I didn't go to work, I didn't get paid, you know,
Hmm.
because my paycheck was tips. So you just put a bunch of medicine in you and you run as hard as you can because you know, Mr. Bills doesn't care. You know what I mean? But it wouldn't have hurt anybody to take the day off. What about you, Echo? Would it hurt
Well,
anybody for you to take that day
I,
off?
I was just thinking to myself, for me, it was like a control thing.
Yeah.
I didn't want to give up the control that if I wasn't there, you know, sure, somebody else could do my job, but they wouldn't do it the way I would do it. So I didn't want to give up that control and let somebody else, you know, do it. And I think
Yeah, it was
it was
consistency.
always kind of like being sick was, I didn't want to be sick.
Mhm.
I always thought my mom was a little bit of a hypochondriac. And so I would go so far the opposite way.
Oh, okay.
Like even when I had my hand in when I worked in a pizza place, got my hand stuck in the dough roller machine, and they had to have the fire department come dismantle the machine to get my hand out. And
Oh,
I
holy
broke my
smokes.
hand all up. And yet I was like, I'm fine. And they're like, no, get in the ambulance. You've got to go to the hospital. And I'm like, no, I'm fine. I got my hand back. I'm good, you know,
Right.
because I didn't ever want to be like my mom as far as blowing things out of proportion or, you know. And so a lot of times when I was sick or didn't feel good, I just, you know, nobody knew. It was just like I just kept on going anyway.
Right.
And then
It's
even
continuity.
after I was older and started having medical issues, and I'd go to the doctor and they would tell me, I would still like, no, that can't be right. No, I don't want to be that. You know, it's like, and so you kind of be in denial. And part
Right.
of this, the dimensions of wellness, you know, thinking about your whole person. Um, when I was diagnosed with diabetes, I wanted it to be somebody else had diabetes, not me, you know. And so it was like everything they told me I needed to do, I always in my mind, well, I'm doing it for somebody else. I'm not doing it for me,
Mhm.
you know. And how crazy is that? If you have an illness, you got to be able to wrap your brain around the fact that, okay, something is wrong here. You need to take care of yourself.
Right.
But no, I don't want to do that. I was in denial. I was so bad. And there again, it can't be cured. It has to be managed. And if you're in denial, then you're not managing it.
Right.
So, you know, nothing is getting better. And then all the side effects of everything else all just make it. That's time for Norma's bingo, y'all. I'm not going to make it today, but it is time for Norma's bingo. But it's like physical ailments can make you emotionally sad. You know, physical ailments can make you depressed, can make you anxious. There's a lot of different things that happen, whether you have an emotional thing going on or a physical thing going on. It still all has to be dealt with, you know, as a whole person. And I think that's where I went wrong in a lot of things, is that I like ignore it. It'll go away. You know, don't think about it. It won't bother you. No, you got to think about those kind of things.
Well, and I would, you know, like an emotional thing, a physical thing, whatever it may be, you know, I would push through it, just push through it, poof, 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 push through it. And when I would get to the other side, or what I consider the other side, I would be very proud of myself. You made it through, you know, so that was my little pat on the back that I toughed it out and I made it through, you know, and I'm like, is that really what you wanted to make through? I mean, I'm glad you did, but you could have taken that day off, or you could have not confronted, or you could have, you know, whatever it was, whatever the wellness was, you know what I mean? No cure for some illness. Learn to cope with it. Yes. Yes. And it sounds like Echo was, you know, doing it for other people.
Yeah,
because it was easier.
I would have done anything for any of my family members that were sick, but would I do it for myself? Probably not. I probably would have been like, I don't have time to be sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the classic, I'll worry about it later.
Yeah. Or it's not that bad. Just because
It's
that's
not
what they say, it's not that bad.
Just like your hand. I've got my hand. It's not
I'm
that
good.
bad.
It'll heal. I'm good.
The activities you choose to participate in for your self-care should help you achieve balance in different areas of your life to promote your overall wellness. So,
For
are
me,
you guys
that comes back to the whole idea of if it's not something you're going to do, it's not going to help you.
right?
So like just saying I want to eat better doesn't help you if you don't eat better.
Right.
You know, so you can have all the best intentions, I guess is what I'm trying to say. You can have the intention to do so many things that would be so beneficial to your whole body. But if you're not going to do it, it doesn't matter. You got to figure out what are those little things I'm willing to do. Like,
Well,
baby steps.
and we spoke of this at the beginning of the year, that there's a difference between goals and resolutions. So you can say, I'm going to eat better. Okay. Now, if you said that to your boss, I'm going to put it this way. If you said that to your boss, what would they do? They would look at you and go, no, how are you going to eat better? What are you going to do to eat better? You know, you have to kind of narrow that down a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to cut out pasta, or I'm going to, you know, only have one piece of chocolate today, you know, that kind of thing. Instead of just saying, a big ball, I'm going to eat better. You know, that it has to be a goal. So then you have something to strive to instead of just.
One of the things I learned on the job was you never went to management with a problem unless you had a solution.
Exactly.
because
You're not going to
they,
listen to them.
you know, they would be like, okay, great. So you don't like XYZ. What are you going to do about it? You
Right.
know, because they don't want to have to come up with the solution. And a lot of the times they would let me do things differently as long as I got the result they wanted.
Right.
And so I kind of had to take that um, idea with my own health. I had to kind of say, okay, here's the problem. What am I willing to do about it?
Right.
What will I do about it? You know, and for me, I never ever got the message that all these different things had to work together for you to be a healthy person. I don't know why. I just never understood it. And when I finally said, and I always say it was my bariatric surgeon because the way he explained it, it could have been anybody that explained it. It was because I
Yeah.
was ready to hear it. And I
Yeah.
was ready to
That's
say
it right there.
that
Mm-hmm.
this is what I was going to have to do, you know. And so then I was able to take those things that I'd been told my whole life and actually implement them into my life and to actually get the results I wanted to get. But until you're ready to make changes, not going to happen. You can
And
have the best
yeah,
intentions, but if you're not ready, it's not
yeah.
going to happen.
And you can also, what Echo just now said, I've said it a billion times, and it also goes towards addiction. If you're not ready to hear it, you're not going to hear it. And it doesn't matter who says it. When you're ready to hear it, all of a sudden it goes in, you know. And it's any big changes in your life, any big changes in your life. Yeah, which is your over, you know, addiction is, you know, a health issue, you know.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Health, it could be mental, physical, whatever. It could be both. So, yeah, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't, like you said, it doesn't matter who says it. And when you're willing to hear it, all of a sudden it's like that light bulb goes off.
Mm-hmm.
Bing. And it's
Right.
like, oh, and then all these pieces you've been listening to, and you're going, yeah, right, yeah, right, yeah, right. You can put them all together. Yeah.
And I think I had to realize too, nobody's going to come and do it for me.
Yeah.
You know, if I wanted to make the changes, I had to be the one that was willing to do the things that needed to be done.
That knight in
And
shining armor is not coming, honey.
he's not coming. Exactly. And if, oh, they're beautiful. And if you find yourself in a situation that you need help, you know, it may be something as simple as you need to make a decision and say, okay, I'm going to make this change. Or maybe you need to talk to somebody, or maybe you can confide in a friend or a family member. But until you're to that point to say, I'm going to do this, you'll change your mind. And that's the thing with the New Year's resolution. It's a great idea. Sounds great. But what do you actually have to do that?
Right.
And I'm not saying, oh, make a goal and you'll automatically follow through. No, but if you take what you want to do and you can break it down into, okay, now what would I actually have to do to get there, to
Right.
actually do that thing?
Into steps.
Right.
Yes.
And then look at each one of those steps. It's like, am I going to do that? Perfect example is my daughter. She's overweight genetically, I'm sure has a lot to do with that. But she knows because she's flat out told me it wouldn't help me to have the surgery that you had because I'm not going to eat right. I know what I'm going to eat. I'm not going to do it. And I'm like, exactly. And that's why you are not at the point that you're ready to have that surgery.
Right.
Because you know what you're willing to do and what you're not willing to do. And when you find out everything at first, it's really scary. And you're like, oh no, I could never do that. But then when you start thinking about, but I want, how bad do you want it? You know, you can do anything if you want it
Yeah.
bad. And
Yeah.
so that's a lot of it for me had to do with, okay, this is what I want to do. And the same thing goes with setting boundaries. This is the boundary. And now I'm the one responsible to keep that boundary in place.
Yeah.
And if I get weak and I let somebody go past that boundary, then I have to deal with the consequences of that. And for me, it was very easy to say, I'm just not having it anymore. It's like, I'm drawing the line in the sand. This is it. And I do kind of feel like I built a little wall around myself, like, we're going to protect her no matter what. And anybody else who doesn't like it can go live somewhere else,
Right.
But it takes that determination to be able to follow through. And
strength.
I'm sure if you
it takes a lot of strength.
Talk to people that have had, any kind of addiction, that you have to be stronger than that addiction. You can't let the addiction win. And we all have to eat, right? So it's kind of like, well, if you're addicted to food, how can I cut out food completely? Well, you can't, but you have to change the way you think about food. Yeah.
Right.
And I think it's the same way with anything. You can be addicted to another person. I mean, there's so many things you could be addicted to. And that's one thing they do tell you in the bariatric
Bingo, Miss Edna.
that you might switch addictions. You might stop being a food addict, but you might become a gambling addict, or whatever it might be. Because if you have an addictive personality, you still going to have an addictive personality, even though you might correct the fact that you're no longer addicted to food, but you could be addicted to something else. Same thing with quitting smoking. I can remember when I quit smoking being like, what's going to stop me from just deciding I want to smoke again? Me. I'm the only one that can stop me from doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm not saying that I will never smoke again. I know I'm one cigarette away from being a smoker, but that's just how it works. You have to be strong enough to say, no, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to do that. And
sometimes it's so hard.
Most people are not ready, and somebody else wants them to do it. I'm going to do it because this person thinks this is what I need. No, it has to be you. You have to want to do it.
And it's part of your wellness. It's part of,
and that
understanding who you are and what your needs are.
Enough to want to take care of yourself.
Yes.
And if you don't love yourself, what do you need wellness for? Because I never, until I started loving myself, that's when I started saying, hey, I need some self-care here. There you go.
Okay. Emotional, spiritual, and intellectual, physical, environmental, financial, occupational, social. That is a lot. That is all self-care. That is all the pieces to that puzzle. Yes. That's a lot. So as Echo was saying, just take little steps, little bites at it. Don't try to take it all at once. Just little bites. And as Facebook Mom said, just peel the onion slowly. And take on little pieces. But Echo also said, and if you guys heard this, that once you take that one piece off, it also opens up this other piece. And so all of a sudden you're doing it with, all these things are opening up like a little flower blooming, and it's just opening up. This bud is, and it's revealing itself. The journey, Echo, you can answer this one. The journey takes on a life of its own, doesn't it?
Yes.
Once you start opening up.
Yes. And because there's a lot of things that you don't even realize are a problem. And as you figure out one little part of it, you see how everything is interconnected, and you realize, okay, I do that because of this. And I did that because of this, because it's real easy to be like, Nothing bothers us from our past. We're adults now. What happened, doesn't matter, but it's still in there. You are who you are from day one, and
It's
if you
all
don't,
imprinted on you. It
yeah,
is imprinted on you.
yeah.
Yes.
And if you don't want to look at all of it, you don't have to look at it all at one time. And I think that's what we're trying to say. The way you change your life is little bit by bit.
Hmm.
You can't like poof, I'm a new person. I mean, I have changed a lot in my healing process. So much so that sometimes I'm like, who the heck is this person? It's like, I didn't know this person was in there. But it's because you look at things based on your environment, based on your
Your
history.
experience.
Yeah. And it's like once you can get some of that out of the way, then you can start actually to see the person there. Because we all do things and have done things to survive. There's nothing wrong with that. You do what you have to do. And maybe the things that you did, hello, Misha. She's been in the bushes.
That's okay.
But maybe
Yes.
the things that you did to survive are totally different than the things that I did to survive.
Yeah.
And that's okay. And I would never tell somebody else, well, just do ABC and you'll be fine. Same thing with dealing with grief. There is no rule book. There is no guarantee that what works for me will work for you or for anybody else. But we can have that empathy and compassion for somebody else and say, I've been through stuff too. I don't
Yeah.
know your stuff, but I know enough to know it hurts. You
It's
know,
painful.
it's
Yeah.
painful.
The
It's,
painful, the pain
you
you're
know,
going through. Yeah.
and that's all you need to do. You don't have to be like, oh, I've got to be 100% healed. Everything's got to be perfect with me before I can try to help anybody else. Just being there and letting the person know, hey, we're all human. We all go through stuff. We all need support. That's all that matters.
And
And I
sometimes
think,
that's all anybody needs is just an ear.
yes.
Don't be judgmental. Just listen. And that's all they
And
need.
also for you to be able to know that, oh, I can trust this person, because trust gets broken over the years, by so many people in so many situations. And so, even though you might really like somebody and you might really want to talk to them, but you don't trust that you can. And
Yeah.
so, I think that's part of the healing journey too, is to be able to say, okay, I'm going to trust you this much. And then if you hurt me, I've only lost this much. And then as you go and you realize, oh, okay, I'm just going to open up and I'm going to lay it all out there and pray they don't hurt me. But
You know what I used to do? And this is kind of a sneaky thing, but I lived in trust issues a lot, but most of us have in one time or another. So I would confide in somebody and I would tell them a story, right? And I would say, don't tell anybody, blah, 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 blah. And I would see if it would get around. And if it got around, I knew exactly who told it. And I went, okay, I can't trust that person. And when it got around to me, I'm going, you're kidding me. That's what they're saying about me, blah, 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 blah. And I would laugh it off. And everybody knew it was horse. But I would know, okay, I can't trust that person. And then I would
right.
do with somebody else, if that makes sense.
Hi, Miss
So,
Shelley. Welcome in, hon. It's funny that you say that, because that's kind of what I did about my divorce, but I didn't tell a story. I just didn't say anything about it. And then when I finally did open up about it, I had other people coming to me and saying, well, so and so said this about you. And I was like, well, it's true. That's, what happened. Well, you never told me about it. Well, you don't have to tell everybody everything,
Yeah.
And so I understand what you're saying. You might have just told them a complete made up thing, but you want to see, are they going to keep that confidence,
Yes.
or are they going to tell somebody else? And I don't think there's anything wrong with if if you're talking to a friend and maybe you have another friend and you're like, that person is struggling, or that person, could use extra support right now, or something like that. That's fine. But if you know what they're dealing with and the other person doesn't, it's not your story to tell.
No.
It's, and so that's what I don't like. I don't mind when somebody wants to talk about, something that's going on, or what, but I don't get into the gossiping and the like, oh, and did you hear what she did? And she's this and she's that and blah, 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 blah. No, I don't go for all of that kind of stuff. And
I don't
I
understand it. I don't understand that. And especially if somebody tells you something in confidence, why do I want to ruin that confidence? Why do I want to ruin that? Because for them to share that with me shows that they trust me.
Right.
Why do I want to ruin that?
Yeah.
Because, you're putting a lot of faith in me, and I don't want to ruin that. And also, how does it feel if I start telling? How do you feel now? You've lost more faith in people. That wall is, it's
And I've
damaging in
always
so many
felt
ways.
too, if you'll talk to me about somebody, then you're probably talking about me to somebody else,
Yeah, exactly.
especially like in the workplace. Boy, those gossipers. Woo! And I was
Especially in the
just like,
boardroom. Yes.
I just get up and walk out. I'm like, oh, y'all have a good day. Bye. And I'd leave. And they'd be like, well, she won't never. She's probably going and write to that person and telling that person what we said. And it's like, no, but I'm not going to be a party to what you're saying either. I'm not going to necessarily go spread what you're spreading. But on the same token, I'm not going to be sitting there to where you can say, oh, she knew it too. She heard it too. She this, she that. No, I didn't. I left. That wasn't me in there,
Well, like Misha says, she says, if you don't defend yourself, it must be true. Me, but I've always been a giggler. People would come up to me and say, I heard this about you. And I would just giggle. And they would look at me and go, well, is it true or not? And I would giggle and turn around and walk away. They never knew if it was true or not. I didn't care if they knew it was true or not, because they were not in my, if you really knew me, you would know if it was true or not.
Right.
You know what? If you knew me, you wouldn't have had to ask the question. No matter if it was true or not, you wouldn't have to ask me the question. So I would just giggle. I would just giggle and turn around and walk away. And they were like, aren't you going to answer me? And I would just shrug and giggle and walk away. I'm like, you've already made up your mind,
Well, and it told you a lot about that person, the fact that they even asked you.
Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking, if you knew me, you wouldn't have to ask that.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And I think too, what difference does it make what other people are doing? Does it affect you directly? Is your life dependent upon what this other person is doing? No.
Like I've always said a billion times, I don't really care what that person's doing. They're not paying my bills. They're not keeping a roof over my head. They can do whatever they want to until they start paying my bills and supporting me. Then I'll worry about what they're doing. And I've never had anybody support me. So I don't, whatever they want to do.
Misha says, if we were ever to see a list of all the names of all the people we have hurt throughout our lives without knowing it, might change our actions muchly. Exactly.
Yeah. But I think that's another reason why I'm so pushing on the ripples.
Yeah.
Because I have damaged a lot of people. I don't. I've damaged a lot of people in my life. I have. I've apologized a lot. And there's so many more that I can't. Yeah, there's no words.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably the reason I'm so pushy on the ripples, because I want to not be that person anymore. I want to help change that I'm not damaging people in their souls and in their hearts anymore. I want to help people, if that makes sense. I have more to say, but I'll fall apart.
I was going to say, I'm going to stop you there before you get too upset about it. But I'm glad that you brought it to my attention, because sometimes it's like you lose sight of the fact that what you do affects other people, good
Yeah.
or bad, you know? And to think that we might inadvertently do something that might hurt somebody else is not something I ever would want to do, you know. And to just think about that, you know, no matter what you do in your life, it is affecting other people in a
Yes,
good
it
way
does.
or in a bad way. And another thing that it makes me think about too is like with my daughter and my granddaughter, they're going to live a lot longer than I am. And when I'm long gone, I want them to have good thoughts of me and good memories of me, you know? So I don't want to do things that is going to hurt them in the long run that I don't even realize, you know?
Uh,
So yes, body illusion is an amazing friend.
yeah, but yeah, like you said, I want people to, when I'm uh, worm food, I want people to go body illusion and just kind of smile in their heart. That's all I want. That's
Yeah.
all I want. But she's such a goofy. God, she was such a dingling.
Oh, but you are
A
somebody that,
dingling. Yes, I know,
well, you
honey.
might be a dingling sometimes, but we all are. We all can be like that. But what I love about it is that you can find the humor and the levity in some situations that other people don't see. You have a way about you that is like, I'm going to uplift this person. Gosh darn it, whether they like it or not, they're going to leave and they're going to say, "Hey, she made me laugh," you know. And not everybody can do that. So
That's a talent.
it
Yeah.
is a talent.
I can make people laugh. Okay.
You
That's
can.
good. That's good. I'll
And
take
you can make people think about things that they might not have thought about. Step
that's
3.
good.
Okay.
Here we go. Strategies. In my opinion, that's like a different word for goals. Figure out pieces of, okay, you want to be here. This is your goal. Now, what steps are you going to take? What steps are you going to take to get there? Like I always say, just try to make today just a little bit better than yesterday. And that's all you can really do.
Mm-hmm.
Just take little steps towards that goal. If you keep that goal in mind, that's me. I want to be loyal to my friends. Yeah. 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 I don't want to hurt anybody. Not anymore. I mean, I lived a very selfish life. Very selfish. But my dangling. Gonna sing the Chuck Berry song? Isn't that a song?
Yep, I think it is.
Yeah. Everybody play with my ding-a-ling. Anyway, so step 3, choose self-care strategies. So what would be your strategies? Michelle,
Um,
Awake Ned. Go ahead, Echo. We're going to see
I
if
was going to
Michelle has.
say, anybody in the chat got any that work for them? I was going to say, everything I do, I try to remember to be kind to myself. And is what I'm doing going to be kind to myself, or is what I'm doing going to hurt myself? So, and that goes for eating right and exercising and going to the doctor and, trying to get
That
a
doesn't even enter my mind. Isn't that interesting? That doesn't even enter my mind.
really.
Yeah, that's wonderful. That's wonderful, sweetheart. That's good.
Um, because I think I spent so long being unkind to myself, you know,
Mhm.
and not thinking about it, not even caring or worrying about was I being unkind. And so now, and I mean, I'm not saying that I got everything figured out, but I got it figured out for me and my life for today. I
And
don't know
that's what
what,
it takes.
I don't know what
Everybody is going to be
tomorrow is
different.
going to be like, but I hope that whatever I have to deal with in the future, I'll be better equipped to deal with because of what things I do now for myself. Um, that's part of the reason I was as sick as I was, because I didn't take care of myself.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think about, is this okay for me or not? It's like, it's got to get done. So do it.
Yeah.
Worry about all that later.
Well, and I think too, I used to be such a people pleaser
Hmm.
that if I give myself a tenth of that quality attention that I gave everybody else, then I'm taking good care of myself, you know. Um, Sometimes I have to say no to things.
Yeah. And
And
Misha says
before,
one day at a time. And see, that never worked for me. Never worked for me. One day at a time. Never, ever worked for me. Uh-uh. That's too long of a time. 24 hours was too long. It had to be, no, not right now. No, not right now. Let me take care of this moment right this minute. Then I'll take care of the next moment. Then I'll take care of the next moment. And then they daisy chained into longer times. But for me to say 24 hours, I'm just not right now. Like eating dinner. I want to eat better. I want to eat blah 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 blah. So this moment and this meal, I'll eat this. Doesn't mean breakfast, I'm not going to have a piece of cheesecake. But this moment, right this minute, I'm going to do this. And I'm going to feel good about it because I did this. So it'll give me encouragement to move on to the next step, if that makes sense to anybody. But I couldn't do 24 hours. Well, one day at a time. That's just 24 hours just sounded like forever.
well, and I
One
think
day
too,
at
I
a
had to
time.
learn how to live in the present moment. What can I do right now to make myself feel better,
Right.
because I lived so much in my past trying to make up for things. And then it was, well, okay, since I didn't do that in my past, well, now I'm going to in my future. So I plan the future so I can either worry about what is already gone and done or what hasn't happened yet. But to worry about right here, this moment, that was hard for me.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to
Yeah.
say, okay, what are you going to do right now? Don't think
And
about,
that's the most precious time there is, living
yeah,
in the moment.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how to do that. I could be present, but my mind was somewhere else.
Yeah.
I was
Like
already
as soon
to
as
the
I'm done with
next
this, I got to blah,
show.
blah, 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 blah.
Mhm. Yeah. And
That's my
half the
addiction.
time, the things I figured out for in the future never did come to work out. And it's like now I can look back and think, look how much time you wasted on things that you never even had to deal with because you were so worried that you might have to deal with them.
Yeah. But it was a learning lesson, so it really wasn't wasted. You learn that you don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah, I don't do it anymore. I worry about today, I worry about now, and you really can't do a whole lot about tomorrow until tomorrow gets here.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, there's still things that I do plan ahead on. I'm not going to say that I don't, but there's also things that, oh, and here's a perfect example. I would wait until right before, like if somebody asked me to do something, I would wait till right before, and I would have been thinking about this for 2 months that I'm not doing that. But do I tell that person I'm not doing it? And then I got 2 months of them knowing I'm not doing it? No, I would wait until
Oh,
right before. And then I would say, oh, by the way, I'm not going to be able to do that, instead of maybe disappointing them if I told them, ahead of time. Now I'm like, okay, don't count on me for that. I
yeah,
won't be able to do that now. I know now today, 2 months from now, that ain't happening. You know,
right.
and I'm sorry if you're not happy about that, but yeah,
Yeah, and I was always one, even if I didn't know if I could do it or not, once I gave my word, I was like, I'll bend over backwards because I, to this day, and I feel this deeply, I don't have much to give, but I do have my word.
yeah. And
And
I
my
like
word,
to have my word mean something when I
yes,
say it. And
when I
I
say,
think that's part of being honest with myself. Like, are you saying yes because you don't want to hurt that person's feelings? Or are you saying yes because you actually want to do whatever it is?
right, right,
And I don't want to live with regret anymore. I don't want to
but,
do things to please somebody else and make myself miserable
mm,
anymore. You know.
right, right,
And so I've just learned that. And I've also learned that when I tell somebody no, I'm not going to do something, I don't have to hear their response because I would let them guilt me, you know. You really aren't going to do that. I need you to do that. Blah, 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 blah. And eventually, guess what I would do? Okay, I'll do it.
yep,
Now I'm
yep,
like, hey, that boundary is set in stone.
yeah,
Sorry, can't
yeah. My
happen,
boundaries are all over the place.
you know. But I'm proud of myself that I can do that now. And it used to scare me to death that somebody might be unhappy with me,
Yeah,
you know?
you might have hurt somebody's feelings, or yeah,
Yeah.
they won't talk to me anymore.
And, I used to think that too. Whenever I wouldn't hear from somebody, I would think, what did I do? I didn't do anything. I didn't disappoint them. I didn't, and it might not have had nothing to do with me, but I would
Right.
sit there and beat myself up over it.
No is a
And
complete sentence. Yes, it is. Yes, it
yeah,
is.
and I have my very good friend Loretta. We can literally go months and not talk to each other. But if I pick up the phone and call her, or she calls me and we need each other, we're there.
Mhm.
And I didn't like that friendship because I wanted to see her more often than we did.
Uh-huh.
And I finally had to say, I would like to see you at least once a month. So
Mhm.
let's make a date. Let's
Mhm.
plan. The first Friday of every month, we go to lunch and catch up. And if we need to see each other more often than that, great. But we're not going to, that is going to be important to both of us to keep that date. And now we look so forward to it that we're taking turns picking new restaurants to go to. And it's like, it's my turn the 1st of March. I'm like, I got to figure out where I want to go, you know?
Yeah.
But and she was feeling the same thing, but she never expressed it to me.
Right.
So it was like once we finally made the plan and said, okay, this is what it is. Now we're both like, and don't play nothing for that Friday. That's our day. It's like, that's right.
I think that's wonderful. You have a relationship like that. You
Yeah.
know, very few people do. Yeah.
And it's really made it now where I don't have to worry about what's going on in her life. Because I know I see her once a month and I'll get caught up. I'll know what's going on. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? It's like
Hmm.
where I'm not waiting for the phone call of, oh, this bad thing happened, or whatever. So
Yeah.
That and I think sometimes we have to ask for what we want. We can't
Yeah.
expect other people to read our minds and be like, "Oh, you know me. You should have known well enough. You should have known exactly what I expected you to do." No,
Right.
people don't know, and you don't know how they're feeling about something either if you don't ask them. You know. But to me,
Yeah.
it's hard
But
to
Misha,
be
we all
open.
understand. We all understand that, you do what you can do, and that's all we can ask for. Everybody does what they can do, and that's beautiful. That's what makes, the garden of life so beautiful with all the different colors and flowers and blooming. It's yeah, that's what makes it so beautiful. Yeah.
But how good that you know yourself enough to say that
Yeah.
instead of having to deal with, oh my gosh, I let another person down.
The
You know?
disappointment. The
Yeah.
disappointment in yourself.
Self. Yes.
Oh, you disappointed yourself more than
Yeah.
you disappointed them, but
But
I disappointed myself too
yeah.
because I really wanted to do that. Blah blah
Yeah.
blah blah blah.
Hmm. Yeah. I think it's wonderful.
Yeah,
And that's one thing I'm trying to learn who I am and what are my wants and likes and dislikes and all of that. Because how can you operate in this world if you're a stranger to yourself?
exactly.
You know, you can't expect anybody else to get to know you if you
If
don't
you
know
don't know you,
yourself.
yeah,
You
and
know,
they won't know the true you. They
no,
won't know the true you because you're not revealing the true you because you don't know the true you. Yes.
exactly.
So for you having that perspective, you say it's you know like it's a ugly thing, but it's I think it's very enlightened of yourself to look inside and make that determination. Self-care should not be something you force upon yourself to do. Self-care practices will refuel you, helping you to take care of yourself and the support of those around you. If you're having trouble thinking of ways you can take better care of yourself. So I think it's kind of saying if you need refueling, if you need help, community, and they can help you. They will listen. They will, or even if you just watch them, you don't have to take advice. I don't like advice. Don't give me advice. I want to learn by watching. I want to learn by teach me by example. How about that? Is that a good way to put that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because advice really is, I mean, it doesn't really help you unless you put it to use and
As
it
my,
helps
as,
you. You
as
know,
my friends always said, you're talking to the side of your neck.
yeah.
That means nothing. That's always what this talking out the side of your neck is just blowing hot air.
And I have a really bad habit of saying, "Well, I read something about that, or I heard something about that." I don't know if that really is good advice or not. I just know it's in my brain for some reason. I
Right.
heard about it, but I don't know if it'll help you or not. I don't even know if it would apply to myself. So I have to start like, is somebody really asking for your advice, or are you just volunteering? I like that though, not to force yourself because you won't do it.
No.
You will not do it. I
No.
do believe the more you do for yourself, the easier it gets to do it. And
Yeah.
maybe you'll expand on what you're doing or, start to do more of that. But I think you can overload yourself and be like, I really need to take care of this and this and this and this and that. But I think if you take care of one thing and start slow, then you can add to that. And then eventually you become like, hey, feels pretty good when I take care of myself.
Well,
Whereas,
and the other thing is if you take on too much, like forced yourself, if you take on too much, it can get scary. And then you'll just shut down completely and you won't want to look at any of it, if that makes sense. You're just like, oh no, I don't want to look at any of it instead of taking a piece at a time and just looking at it and just glancing at it and looking at it and seeing how it feels. And and then you will notice that you'll start feeling better, you know, once you get past the initial of looking at it. Excuse me.
I think we have to learn how to give ourselves permission to feel what we feel.
We're not supposed to feel. We're not supposed to feel.
Well, your feelings are
the
not
environment
supposed to.
says, we're not
This
supposed
is
to feel.
what I always heard. Your feelings are not supposed to affect me.
Right.
So it doesn't matter how it makes you feel. What matters is how I feel about it.
Yeah. I don't care about your feelings.
Yeah. Don't even. And then I was always told too, you're too emotional. You feel too much. You this, you that, whatever. Okay, good. Well, then you become the opposite to where, okay, I'm going to be cold about everything. I'm not going to feel anything. And I think I was in that state for a while. And now it's like, when I feel a feeling, I feel it. And, good, bad, or indifferent. It's still, I allow myself to feel it. And that's okay.
You allow yourself to feel it. There,
Yeah.
That's a great line right there.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I also accept how it makes me feel. I used to no, you don't really feel that way. No. Like, if I feel something now, it's like, wow, I didn't know I felt that way. Or I didn't know that affected me like that. Instead of trying to convince myself, that's not how you really feel.
Yeah, that's not how I really feel, or I'll worry about that feeling later. I'm going to put it on a shelf. It'll be over there. I'll worry about it later.
And sometimes I
don't have time for it right now.
Sometimes I have to stop myself and be like, it's okay. Yeah. It's okay. It feels scary, but this is something you need to deal with because it is making you feel scared. Or whatever. Whereas before I would just be like, change the subject, do something. It's like, let me run from that feeling, And now I'm just like, ooh, we're going to sit with this one a minute and see what's going on. My feelings about my husband's health problems all over the place. Yes.
And they should be.
Yes.
Because health problems do that, and especially being so close. I mean,
and when you love somebody, you don't want to see them in pain, see them hurting. You don't want to think about any of it. You want them to be healthy and happy and, get on having a great life. And sometimes that's not the way it works out for us. So I totally understand that.
Remember when we used to? Remember when we used to? Yeah. Want that life back again.
My sister's husband's had some health problems of late. And when I talked to her the other day, she said, I think we have a handle on it. And I think we know our new normal now. And that's, to me, is a big part of it. Things are not going to go back to the way they were prior to that. But this is what our new normal looks like. And okay,
I say that all the time. My new normal.
Yeah. New normal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm supposed to be strong. Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
And it's a toll being that way 24/7. Yeah.
But what, Regina?
You get a break. I hope you have children or somebody that comes in and gives you a break, once a week or something like that, so you can go watch a movie or go shopping or whatever. I hope you get that breather.
Yeah, you got to take care of yourself.
It's self-care again. You can't be strong for him when unless you take care of yourself as well.
That's right.
Yeah. So let's see what the next one says. We're not even halfway through these.
Really?
More. Move more.
Yes.
Okay. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Come join Echo and move more.
And the fact that I do it live is a great testament about how much I love myself. That I am able to do that. Because before, you would have never caught me doing something like that. So,
What is normal?
yeah.
Normal is different for everyone. Everyone other. And you know that. Everyone's normal is different. You just have to find out the balance and find your normal. Not Abby somebody from Young Frankenstein. Physical activity can help the brain cope better with stress, making it beneficial in the treatment of depression and anxiety symptoms. Hello, folks. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We're going to say it again. You can also turn your exercise routine into a way of spending more time outdoors, walking, hiking, or I can't read that word.
Hikes or
Runs may be easier to fit into your schedule. Spending time outdoors can be rejuvenating and can help fight fatigue, depression, anxiety. Outdoors is wonderful. Outdoors is beautiful. But I know a lot of people that can't get outdoors. Physically, mentally, whatever it is, can't get outdoors. You know what I mean? But you can still exercise in the house. Look at Echo.
Well, and for me,
He's right in our living room.
because I was not a person who exercised at all. I felt like I had a pretty physical job and that was enough, but it's not enough. But the main
Okay.
thing is that if you do it
I'll talk to you.
consistently, you'll feel better. I feel better. That's the only thing that keeps me going. And Ned had to go, so have a great day, Ned. And
Oh, right.
just came in. Hello.
Tiff, Aria's looking for you. I just put it out there. Everybody can hear it. Ned, I would like to talk to you after this as well, if you don't mind. You reach out to me, though. So, yeah. But the routine, like I need to be outdoor more. Yeah, but it's hard, honey. It's hard when you've got big responsibilities. You know, I mean, even if it's just maybe just opening the front door, opening the windows and letting the fresh air come in, and just looking out at the window. You know, anything like that can help. You know, like I was doing the affirmations, and I was doing those every single day, and it was all outdoor stuff. Just because I knew there was people that couldn't get out there, and I wanted them to know that it was still out there. But outdoors is beautiful. But any kind of exercise, any kind of motion, physical motion, you know, to get the blood flowing, to get the oxygen through your blood, through your brain. I mean, Echo, you tell me, since you've been exercising.
Well, and I didn't realize
is everything firing different in there now?
Yeah, I didn't realize the benefit for the stress reduction. I didn't realize that I would have more energy, that I would feel more motivated. You know, there's just a lot of aspects of it that, you know, if you're the kind of person who is dreading doing it, like me, it's like, oh, I just can't even make myself do it, yet alone do it consistently. But I've learned that by doing it consistently and just giving it a try, I have felt benefit from doing it. Other says, I sat outside and listened to frogs last night. I have tree frogs because I'm right next to a retention pond. I love the noise that the little tree frogs make. Such a loud noise.
Yeah, he has a creek. He has a creek in his yard. So yeah.
I love to when I'm outside, I love to find somewhere to walk or sit and let the sun hit me, you know, even just for a few minutes. It just feels good, you know. And I think if you move your body in a way you don't normally move, you'll see the benefits of that.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that either, you know. Because when you look at people at a gym lifting weights and things like that, it's like, yeah, I just don't have that ambition. I just don't want to look like a bodybuilder. You know, I just don't want to do that. But
And
then,
I don't want to work out in front of them. It's embarrassing.
yeah, yeah. But then when, you know, then when you actually look down and be like, hey, what is that popping out right there? That's a muscle. Look at that, you know? Then you're like, okay, I can do this. I don't have to be, you know, a bodybuilder to actually have muscles that can do something. And you know what I did yesterday?
Oh, go
This is
ahead.
this is a big thing for me. Before, when I would fall down, I could not get up off the floor by myself.
Okay.
I would have to crawl over to the couch or crawl over to a chair or even the counter in the kitchen, something to be able to climb up, you know, and pull
Right.
myself up on it, right?
Hmm.
So yesterday, Anais has got all the books out of her bookshelf. She calls herself organizing it. And I said, okay, honey, Granny's going to come sit down there and help you because, you know, she was not making it any better by trying to shove everything in there. So I went and I sat down on the floor in front of the bookshelf and I got all the books organized. Her mom came to get her and I'm still sitting on the floor. And my daughter said, you can't get up, can you? I said, no, I can get up. I'm just, you know, I just was sitting here while, you know, we were chit chatting, but yeah, I'll get up. And I had socks on and no shoes. And do you know that I got on my knees and I pressed up from the floor and I stood up without having to climb up on anything, even with socks on where I could have slipped, but I didn't. And
Congratulations,
I
honey.
got up. And my daughter said, I can't believe you got up off the floor by yourself. And I was like, now you tell me these chair exercises are doing nothing. I know for a fact they are helping me because I could have never done that before. Even
Excellent. Congratulations.
if I had lost weight, I didn't have the muscle strength
Right.
in my legs or even in my arms to be able to do that. So I was very happy with that. And my
Oh,
daughter,
you should
you know,
be.
she couldn't believe it. She was like, what?
See, Stephanie, Regina, they're all
Yeah.
congratulations,
I
honey.
was just like, now how embarrassing would it have been if I couldn't get up? But I think I knew I was going to be able to get up before I ever sat down. But
Right.
yeah. So yes, anything you
But
can do will help.
yeah, but again, I mean, how proud of yourself were you? I mean, let's talk about it. How proud of yourself were you when you did that? I mean, you had to be just like inside, just going, yes, yes. I
And
mean,
and
really, let's be
there's,
real.
you know, I've been watching all these different exercise videos, right? And
Yeah.
there's one where they actually they cross their leg. They're standing up. They cross their legs and they sit down on the floor,
Hmm.
and then they get themselves back up
Okay.
without having to turn over and get on their knees and their hands or anything.
Hmm.
And I keep looking at that video like one of these days we're going to try that, you know, but I haven't tried it yet. But
See, there's a goal, folks. There's her goal. And
you
she's
know,
taking little steps
there's
to get there.
things that I could not do that I can
Hmm.
do now. And there's things that I used to look at and be like, who am I kidding? And now I look at them and I'm like, I think I could do that. I think I, you know, so yeah, it definitely, and it changes the way your brain thinks about it. It really does. Because
Isn't
even
that
before I
wonderful?
started doing them live, when I was just recording them, I was getting later and later doing it because I was procrastinating doing it. And I was like, oh, I could put it off. Even though I said I was going to do it, I could still. Now it's like, hey, it's scheduled. It's so much easier just to do it live. And I don't ever think, now I don't wake up and go like, well, maybe I won't. You know,
Yeah.
it's always like,
Well, I
okay,
remember that because sometimes it would go on at 10 your time. Sometimes it would be 11. Sometimes it'd be 12.
12,
I remember a
2.
couple of times it was on at
Yeah,
2.
yeah. Because I was like, you know, not only the time it took to actually record it, download it, upload it, post it, do the premiere. It was just so drawn out that it was like, I just don't want to do it, you know.
Yeah.
And so
And
when
once
I
you got out
made,
of the hall too, in
yeah,
that hall was just like,
and when
it
I
felt
said, okay, I'm
suffocating
going
to
to
me.
do this live and I'm just going to, do it. And I love it now. Now I'm great. But yeah, it's all in the way you think about it.
Yeah,
Your perception does make a difference.
exactly. Exactly. There you go. That's you, Echo. Balanced diet.
Yeah. And protein, 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 protein. Can't say it enough.
What we eat and drink can affect our body's ability to prevent, fight, and recover from infections. It can also impact our mood. So, yeah. And and if you look at most of the diets, you know, that's what they promote the most. Protein. Protein,
Hmm.
protein, 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 protein. And even if you're vegan, they promote protein.
Hmm.
Protein. Because that's the thing that vegans have a problem with getting enough of. So
Yeah.
it's all wrapped around that.
Well, and I mean, I've said it so many times. It's not about how much you eat, it's about what you're putting in your body. Is it fueling your body? Is it making your body be able to work and do the things you want to do? When my sugar was so out of control, it really didn't matter what I ate because my body was having so much trouble getting doing anything that
Mhm.
it was just like a crapshoot. It was like, just go ahead, eat whatever, because it ain't going to help. And once I finally got the sugar under control, it seemed like then what I ate started to make a difference in how I felt.
Right.
That's how it was able to help me to change what I wanted to eat because of how I knew I would feel.
You were feeling, yes.
You
Yeah,
know,
and it's true. To keep going with results, to keep going with progression, and to keep moving forward, you have to see some kind of result. You have to have you have to have a reward system somehow. So when you start feeling better, you're thinking, oh, I can do another step, oh, you know, but we live in a reward system. And that's another reason why addictions get so out of hand because we're
well,
rewarding ourselves.
and if you think of food as good food and bad food, or what tastes good and what doesn't taste good, then, when you cut out those things that you liked or you thought tasted good, but that were really bad for you, it's like the brain normally will be like, oh, you're depriving yourself. You're not able to do this or do that. And so before I had my surgery, I made up my mind I was not going to not eat something. If I really truly wanted it, I was going to eat it. But I
Mhm.
knew I would only be able to eat a little tiny bit of it. So to me, there was no sense in totally depriving myself of eating it because I
Right.
wasn't going to be able to overdo it on whatever it
Mhm.
was. And
Mhm.
there's more things that I found that I like, the higher protein version or the sugar free version, or, whatever, because that's what I was eating and I developed a like for those things. So
Right.
even now that maybe I could eat something that's not, even like my cake that I made for the
Yeah,
collaboration,
I was thinking that.
I put the protein powder in there. I was like, I'm going to eat this cake, so I better put some protein in it. And it
Others the
turned
same
out
way.
amazing.
He has protein powder and he has different flavors and he protein powder all the time, constantly, because even if he treats himself, one time or something, he's got to make up for it. So he's got to get that. Yeah. So protein powder is a big, big thing.
And a
Big.
lot of people have never experimented with it. So they don't know. They just think of what it is and think, oh, that'll be gross. I won't like that.
It sounds
And
gritty.
Yeah, and it's like you once you play with it, there's different brands, different flavors, different consistencies. It depends on what you mix it with. There's just a lot of variables there. But when you actually get something that works and you're like, oh, then you remember, okay, that cake mix. Now, and after I did it, I was like, you could have got the sugar-free cake mix. You could have got the sugar-free frosting, or you could have looked for low sugar fruit. But anyway, in my mind, it was like, I'm going to make it as healthy as I can. I'm going to add the protein powder. And
Right.
to me, it made that batter so much thicker.
Yeah.
And it just really it was a moist cake, but it was dense at the same time, if that makes
Okay.
sense.
That makes sense.
But it was really good. My granddaughter really liked it too. I
Of
do
course.
think if I ever do
And
it
it's healthy for
again,
her as well. It's getting
yeah,
protein in her,
but I think what I'll do next time is I will do like a half batch and I'll make it as cupcakes.
There you go.
Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. But anyway, it was
And
really,
she'll love cupcakes more. She'll
yeah.
love cupcakes
And
more.
well, they're easier to eat for her too.
They're fun.
And I have the little tiny I can do the little mini cupcakes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, they're
yeah.
so much fun, but they are so much work.
Yeah. But it's just a lot of things like that instead of saying, no, I'm not having it, I'll think, well, what could I do so that I can still have it?
Yeah. If you're feeling anxious or unwell, incorporate certain foods into your diet that can help alleviate anxiety and encourage the release of neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine. Okay. So, what is this? Quest Crunch tastes like cinnamon. Oh, okay. Tastes like cinnamon toast. Okay. See, he's talking powders. He's talking protein powders.
I don't know what brand it is, but when I first looked for like a protein shake, there was a Fruit Loop protein shake. And it tasted exactly like the milk after you've eaten a bowl of Fruit Loops and you drink the milk. So yeah. And they're getting more and more creative with the clear proteins and the different things, because so many people are getting a lot more orientated to eating protein.
Oh yeah, it's becoming a thing now. It's really becoming a thing. Yeah. It's becoming more mainstream. Yeah. So like serotonin and dopamine. I looked at this and I went, yeah, first thing I think of is chocolates.
Hey, dark chocolate is not bad for you.
Yeah.
But in moderation. But it's not bad for you. But I think this is the same idea of food as medicine.
Yeah.
We're so much a society that our first thought is, oh, I need a pill for that, instead of, well, what could I eat that might do the same thing?
Right.
And there's just so many things out there now that we're not eating that really could take the place of a lot of these pharmaceutical things that we're actually consuming,
Well, like I was saying, like chocolate, first thing I think of is chocolate. But you know what? And other can contest to this. I can eat melon, a honeydew, a cantaloupe, whatever. Clean out a melon and just have it cut up there. To me, that is very fulfilling to me. It's very comforting, if that makes sense. So, I mean, that's not a bad thing to nibble on. I mean, it's sugar, but it's natural sugar, but it's very comforting to me. And that it took until I was 60 years old till I figured that out.
But I think that's what it's about too. Find things that you like, because if you're not going to eat it, doesn't matter if you buy it and you have it in the house. If you're not going to eat it, what good is it going to do you? You're just going to throw it away,
I literally have Fruit Loops in front of me right now. Okay. All right.
But yeah, make sure that you have the things that you're going to eat that are going to fuel your body and make you feel better.
Right.
And when for me being diabetic, there were so many foods that really did affect how I felt. But because I felt bad all the time, I didn't really realize it. I
Yeah.
couldn't have told you what made me feel better, what made me feel worse,
Mm.
you know. And once I got that under control and got off a lot of the medication, it was like, oh, when I eat this, I can tell why they say protein makes you feel fuller and last longer than, something else. But I wouldn't have thought that was true,
Yeah.
before.
And the lightheadedness. Doesn't protein help with the lightheadedness as well? Don't you get lightheaded sometimes when you haven't eaten?
Well, now, and that's the thing too. I get lightheaded normally whenever my sugar drops, and
When your
that's
sugar.
normally when I haven't eaten. So
Yeah.
the protein helps keep that more steady,
Right. More
whereas
level.
carbohydrates kind of have their dips and their highs, and then you can definitely be feeling like, oh, I need to eat something.
Right.
But most of the time for me, it's just kind of like my energy. I don't necessarily feel so much lightheaded as I just feel like I'm running out of steam. I need
Yeah.
something. But it's so different than how, we normally eat 3 meals a day and you eat because it's time for breakfast or it's time for lunch. And when you stop doing that and you eat when you feel like you need to eat, it is different. You can tell how you're actually feeling, you know. I think a lot of times we have so much food in us that we don't know what's helping and what's not.
Right.
It's like, okay, I can't really tell what that did.
Well, like Misha was saying, Ned, she was saying she's going to do an intermittent uh, fasting, and
Hmm.
some people that helps. It cleanses out their body and start anew. And sometimes it's for some people, not everybody. It's nice to do
Hmm.
that reset, and then just cleanse it all out and start all over again. And I know a lot of people that do that. Famous does it all the time.
Yeah. And I think it depends on what, your health conditions are and whether or
Yeah.
not that would be, healthy for you to do or whatever. But that's another thing, we eat such large portions and we feel like we need so much food a day. And when you really break it down to how much food your body actually does need, you can definitely get away with skipping a few meals. So
I know I can.
yeah. So when it comes to doing that intermittent fasting, the only thing that scares me about that is when you restrict when you can eat, you may feel like you need to eat more during that shorter period of time to hold you over.
Yeah.
But some people say no, that they eat till they're full and then they stop. You
Yeah.
know. And I know with the carnivore diet, that's the same thing. You can eat as much as you want, but you eat until you're full and then you don't eat again
Right.
until however long. So
Well,
yeah,
if us Americans would do that to begin with, we eat till we're full and stop. But no, we got to keep shoveling it in and shoveling it in because there's still more on that plate.
well, and that's the thing. If you grew up in a house like I grew up in, there's starving children in China, and you better eat every bit of that food on your plate.
Yeah.
And then my parents also had the rule, you got to try some of everything.
Okay.
It's like,
Yeah.
but I
My
don't like
family did
that.
that.
I don't
Just
want
one
any
bite.
of it.
Just one bite. That's all we're
So
asking.
I think a lot of that has to do with how you're raised, what your relationship with food is, whether or not you eat to live or you live to eat. You
Mm,
know, I
very
really
good.
I really think that makes a big difference in it too. And then again, if you have the motivation and that you're going to do it, the determination.
Hmm.
Good old sleep.
We talked about this. Prioritize sleep. Yes. Do we do that?
Nope. Well, I do now.
Yeah, me too. Me too. If I'm sleepy, I mean, I'll be on a meet, and I'm not sure if everybody's still here, but I'll be on a meet call, where we're having a conference call, and I'll fall right to sleep. And they're like, Lucy, Lucy, Lucy. I'm just out. I'm just out because, okay, I want to sleep, and I'm going to sleep right now. I'm sorry. Don't be insulted. I'm just going to sleep. Sleep has a significant impact on how you feel mentally and physically. Getting enough sleep will help regulate your mood. Yes. Improve brain function and increase your energy to help you tackle the day. I can attest to that because I was thinking about that today. About 3 days in a row, I slept really well at night, really well at night. And I got up then in the morning and I was, let's take on the world. And I was really good, really good, really good. And last night, all my nightmares came back and kept me awake. And I got up this morning and I was like, I was just dragging. And I'm like, you were asleep the same length of time, basically. It's just, the quality of sleep was just ugly, So, yeah, it really does matter. Sleep really does matter.
And I think when you're sleep deprived, you just don't think you're ever going to catch up. So what's the point?
Right.
And then, but once you
Oh,
do,
the classic, I'll sleep when I'm dead.
yeah. And for me, now that if I get quality sleep, I feel the same way. I'm motivated, I'm energized, and when I don't, then I feel like brain fog all day. I feel sluggish. I don't really want to do anything. I don't have that motivation. And I'm the kind of person that to do something, I really have to want to do it. I can't especially if it's something being creative. If I'm not in the mood, I can't do it.
Right.
My attention will not be there,
Yeah. Well, what did Tara Banks say? Isn't Tara Banks her saying is the best beauty regimen in your beauty kit is good rest, good sleep. So I mean, it's they don't call it beauty sleep for nothing, folks.
Right. It is very important.
Yeah, it is. Okay. Oh, here's your boundaries, honey. Here's your boundaries. Plan self-care and set boundaries. See, that's my biggest thing, and you have become very good at it. Very good at it. Take a moment to think about the best methods to move forward in your life and stay grounded. It's critical to schedule regular self-care time. Okay? Plan time to do something that gives you joy and helps you recharge. If you're feeling anxious, setting boundaries can help you feel safe and comfortable in your surroundings. So, schedule self-care. Okay, from 10 to 10:15. Doesn't have to be long. 10 to 10:15 in the morning. I'm going to shut the door on the world. And I'm just going to just enjoy me. Just, I'm going to breathe deep. I'm going to relax. I'm going to let the world go by. It doesn't have to be a long, you could even start at 5 minutes, couldn't you?
Yeah.
I mean,
for me, even 2 minutes at the beginning was hard. I was like, is that clock even moving? It's like, how long do I got to stay? But I think it's easier the more you do it.
Yeah. Well, I've talked to people and I said on my lives, I said, if you can't, like Miss Edna, she's, overwhelmed. I said, nobody says you have to go somewhere. Go in the bathroom, close the door. Just close the door, take a few deep breaths. Just take the time for yourself. Just take a few deep breaths, relax for a minute, and then try it again. It doesn't have to be forever. And you can do it 2 times a day. You can do it 10 times a day. You can do it, or you can do it 5 minutes at a time. It doesn't matter. It's recharging you. It's self-care. It makes you better for other people around you as well, not just yourself.
And it gets
Right?
easier. The more you do it, the easier it gets. And then it's easy to set that boundary because it's like, oh, I actually feel good about that. Hey, there's the source. And
Raid. Hi,
honey. Raid. How nice. Thank you.
Yes. We're talking about anxiety here. So how do you feel about that? Source? Huh?
Monique.
Okay, step 4. Define your no list.
Hello. My Nightbot is getting y'all because of the emojis. I'm very sorry. My Nightbot doesn't like emojis. Sorry.
With him.
He's a little particular there when it comes to that.
Define your no list. Another method.
Yes.
Define your no list. Where is your boundaries? What is your no list? I will not. And if we can stick to that, you're making me anxious, smarty pants. I don't think anybody can make you anxious, Source.
It's hard to have a no list when you never want to tell somebody no. So you got to learn how to tell them no first. And then you can say, okay, I'm not doing this. Yeah.
And then sticking to it. Sticking to it. Because that's still that boundary thing. You know what I mean? And that's,
And you need to kind of know what that is before you're in situations where you need to use it, and because
how are you going to react to it when they push it?
You have to know, okay, I have this boundary. I'm not letting anything go past that. And then at first it was kind of like, well, is that or isn't that, and once you can clearly define the boundary, then you're like, okay, now I know when I start getting this pushback and I feel this way, okay, they are encroaching on that boundary and I'm just going to put a stop to that. But I think if you're not used to telling people no and setting a good boundary, that you'll get talked into things and you won't.
Just this once, or
just a little bit. I'm thinking about making this change in my life. I'm thinking about having a boundary here, but because it's you, okay, we don't have to do that today, or whatever. And I'm like, the people closest to you are the ones that are going to not like the boundaries. People not that close, they could care less if you got boundaries, But it's the ones that the boundary stops them from doing something, or
and especially something they're used to you doing, it's the norm. Create a no list. You can create one, but sticking to it.
That's the hard part.
Express your feelings about it. Yes. Expressing your feelings, that sounds wonderful, and trying to make others understand that but if somebody says no, as you said before, no is a sentence. So expressing feelings, some people don't want to hear, they just like, okay, I'll wait till you're done talking and then I'll do it again. But creating a no list, it is very important. Now, to follow through is another thing. but you got to at least know where your goal is, where your line is. It may take some time to get to that line, but at least you know where your line is. So you got to get some ideas. I know everybody's coming in. Thank you, honey.
And that's the thing. You got to be able to know how you feel about something, know what it is you're not willing to do, and then be able to believe in yourself enough to stick to it. And those are not things that just happen overnight. Those are things you work on and you practice, and you eventually get to where you feel comfortable and you can say no and not explain. I always have felt like, well, I better have a really good reason if I'm going to tell this person no. I got to have a really good now I'm just like, you know what, that's just not going to work for me. I'm sorry, or whatever, and go on and don't explain. If they don't get it, they don't understand. They're not going to understand if you explain either, because all they want to do is talk you out of that no and get you to say yes. And so it doesn't matter what your reason was. They're still going to try to make you.
Oh yeah. And they may accept it today, but next week they'll try it again, because you did it before. So we just got to wait till you're weak, and we'll come at you again. Things you don't like, or that you no longer want to do. There's your no list. Okay. Examples might include not checking emails at night or not answering your phone during meals. Learning to say no to things that cause unnecessary stress will positively impact your mental well-being. Okay, I understand checking emails at night and not answering your phone during meals, but those aren't the stressful things for me.
Well, I think it's, we tend to say yes to things when somebody wants an answer right now.
Yeah.
And so I think putting a little distance between when you're going to be making decisions about things. And so maybe, if you get an email late at night, don't worry about that tonight. Put it on for tomorrow, and then you'll, be able to make a better decision, maybe. Not answering the phone during meals. I would love to take the phone and throw it away during meals, but that's not the society we live in,
Right.
But I think all of these things come down to the respect. Does the person respect you enough to let you have those boundaries and set the rules, so to speak, for the relationship? And if they don't, then they don't respect you, and then they don't deserve to be in that relationship with you.
Right.
So I think that's a lot of it. You have to be willing to say, okay, I'm going to lose this relationship if you don't accept my terms.
Right.
And most of us aren't willing to lose it. So we'll say,
yeah. And most people, once you set the boundaries down, and it's not that we're going to lose a bunch of friendships. Once you set the boundaries down, a lot of people will come and say, oh, wow. And they will respect you more, because you do have boundaries, and you do, you have scruples, you have respect for yourself, and having respect for yourself, people see that, and they will respect you more. You know what I mean? Have you lost any relationships from setting boundaries? Probably not.
Not any relationship that was worth keeping. No.
We'll leave it at that.
Yeah. But now, some of my relationships
none that broke your heart, it's not in your life anymore.
But there are some relationships that have changed because I set boundaries. And there are some relationships that needed to end that was a boundary that I needed to set, is that relationship ended. But I think a lot of times we'll hold on to a bad friendship or relationship just so that we have it, instead of maybe being alone. And so that's another boundary. Are you willing to be alone if nobody wants to respect your boundaries?
Yeah. And
Yeah,
again, alone is different than being lonely, folks.
right,
Those are two different words.
right. And you can be with a bunch of people and feel alone.
Yes, you can change. You can change boundaries at any age, honey. We
Yeah,
are evolving every single day. If we're taking a breath of air, we are changing. It's just the way it is. I mean, look at this face. Okay. I wasn't born with these wrinkles. I wasn't born with this color hair. We change every single day. Every single day. And you can change boundaries. You can change anything you want. Sometimes it's harder because as we get older, we get more set in our ways. But yeah, we can change our boundaries. We can do that. Don't you think?
oh
I
yeah.
mean, yeah.
Like Dr. Phil used to always say, or maybe it was Oprah, one of them used to always say, we teach people how to treat us.
Yes.
And that's true because
Yeah.
based on what you accept, lets them know what you're, where you're at. Hello, Miss Deborah, welcome in.
Yeah. I think it
So,
was Dr. Phil. Yeah.
yeah. But I mean, it's you don't realize you're teaching somebody how to treat you when you're a people pleaser and you think that you're just trying to keep them happy. But in essence, you are. So when you do put that
You become
boundary,
a
then
doormat. You become
yeah,
a doormat.
and that person is going to be like, oh, wait, this door don't open no more. What happened here?
Hmm.
So yeah, you have to teach people, and you can change it. And the hardest people, the closest people to you, are probably the ones you need to make boundaries with,
Yeah.
because it's so easy to be a people pleaser when it comes to those close relationships.
Yeah. Well, they can tug at your heartstrings as well. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Yeah.
Hmm.
It's not
Hmm.
just the boundaries. It's now you're tugging at my heartstrings. And yeah. Anyway, step 5, turn your self-care practices into routine. There you go. Now we're down to the nitty-gritty. We've talked about self practices and how to make a list and to no list but how do we keep it, you know, how do we get it going? I mean, Echo found her own way, and I think that's wonderful. She's a strong enough person where she found her own direction, which I would think is beautiful. With a self-care routine that brings you joy, you'll reap the benefits of a healthier mind and body. And that includes being there for people who need you, as we were saying. It helps you, but like that we were saying, there's people around us that need us 24/7. And we will be, if we're better and kinder to us, we will be stronger for them. We will be, yeah, we will be there for them because there is people that need us.
I think it depends too if you are the kind of person that likes a routine, likes to, keep a planner and plan things out, then schedule it, plan that
Mhm.
time for your self care. If you're not a person that does that, don't do it with your self care, because guess what's going to happen? It's going to lay there and you're never going to look at it. And then you're not going to do the routine anyway. So you
Right.
have to make it personal to you. And to me, a lot of the self care, I can't tell you if I'm going to need it today but not tomorrow. Or am I good today, but I'm going to need some self care tomorrow? You know,
Mhm.
it's kind of like you get to know yourself well enough that you can tell, oh, I'm feeling anxious today, or oh, I'm a little extra tired today, or, gosh, my skin is dry. You need to take some time for you, or whatever it might be. But I think you have to be able to do it as you need it. I know a lot of people can say, "Oh, well, I schedule a spa day once a month." Okay, great. I hope that works for you. I wouldn't know what day of the month to schedule it for because I don't know when I would want it. But I have the opportunity to go to the YMCA, and they have a whirlpool and a sauna and a steam room and all of that. And one day I may wake up and be like, I need a little extra care today. Let me go over there and take advantage of that
Mhm.
stuff. But then other
You're right,
days it
honey.
might be, I'm not leaving the house today.
Right.
Just
You can't
depends.
pour from an empty cup.
That's
That's
right.
exactly it. Very,
And you know
very
what?
well.
Sometimes we don't even know our cup is empty. We just think we got it. I got this. No problem. I can do this.
Hmm.
And
Even if
sometimes
it's just drips and drips. Hmm.
yeah. And sometimes it's like you have to be able to even admit to yourself, you know what? I just can't today. And that's okay. I'm okay with that. But other people may not be okay with it. And then
Yeah.
they going to make you feel a little guilty, you know? Well, I encourage you to take care of you so that you'll respect the fact that I'm going to take care of me.
Hmm.
You know,
Right.
you're not taking care of yourself. You don't understand. I need to take care of myself.
Right.
So we all have to take care of ourselves because really we're the only person we have. Hi, Rudy. Exactly. See, just what
And that's what we're here doing. That's what we're here doing.
exactly.
We just went full circle. Yeah. Everybody needs to. Everybody needs to practice self-care. And it doesn't matter. I say that with housework, not today. Yeah. It's okay. It doesn't matter, honey. It doesn't matter. You know what? That dirty dish will be in the sink tomorrow. It's not going anywhere. You don't have to stress over it right this very second.
And
You don't have to stress over it right this very second. It's not going to go anywhere. It's okay. It won't jump up and slap you in the face and say, clean me right now.
and sometimes it's okay to give yourself a break and
Yeah.
say, I normally do XYZ around my house, but today I just don't feel like it.
Yeah.
And that's fine. And then tomorrow you might wake up and be like, oh, I'm getting stuff done, and you get a whole bunch of chores done. But who's your boss? Who really is there cracking the whip saying, boy, you better get that done right now? Nobody. We do that to ourselves.
Yes.
We put that pressure
We're putting those
on
restrictions
ourselves.
on ourselves. Nobody
Yeah,
else is doing that.
no, nobody else cares. And if they care, I always say, are you coming to see my house or are you coming to see me? you
That's
know?
the thing. Okay, so you need to vacuum. Okay. Okay, you do it for you. You're not doing it for like Echo and I are sitting here. Echo's not going to see if I vacuumed. She'll never know if I vacuumed or not. I'm doing it for me. Now, if I don't
Yeah,
want to do it right now, that's fine.
that's fine.
You know, that vacuum will sit there. It's, but as we said, some days you'll get up and you're just like, you're energized and you can conquer the world. And some days, just if you don't feel like it, don't hurt yourself.
And let
It's
yourself
your
do that.
life.
Give yourself permission to say, not today. Okay.
Not today.
Today is not the day for that.
Hmm.
And then what I had to learn too about living in the present moment, even if I've got things planned to do, and my daughter comes and says, Mom, there's this movie, let's go. I want to be able to say, you know what? That's can wait. Let's go have fun.
Right.
Before I would have been like, well, you should have told me ahead of time. You should
Yeah.
have set a plan for us to do that because now I planned I'm going to wash my dishes.
Yeah.
It's like, who cares? Leave the dishes. They'll still be there. Go have fun with your family. But it's not something that came naturally for me. I had to like teach myself that, you know what? It's okay. Put that off. Go do this.
Right.
Yeah. It
That's
can
what
be
I
hard.
say. Are you here to see me or my messed up house? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And if you don't like the way it looks, you don't have to come back.
Well, and I used to always tell my daughter when she was little, like if she had a little stain on her shirt or anything, and she'd
Uh-huh.
be like, "Well, what if somebody says something?" And I'll say, "If they get close enough to see that, you need to kick them because they're too close." It's like if they're just coming to look at your house and going to complain about it, then they don't need to come see you anyway. That's how I
Right?
think about it. I have lots of friends that do not invite me to their home. We meet somewhere in public, and that's
Yeah.
perfectly okay. You know, it just depends. I have other friends that they never want to go out, they always want you to come to their house. And I have other people that are like, invite me over so I can get out of the house.
Mm.
It just all depends on the person.
Yeah. Yeah. I yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. When you or a friend is struggling, it's important to know how to help learn and recognize and respond to the signs and symptoms of mental health or substance use challenge or may be in crisis. So, this is also self-care, you know. If somebody is struggling, you got to be able to know when to reach out and not to push and just to listen. This is more for, just being a good friend and being there for them. You know, they, a lot of people don't want advice. Like I said, I don't want advice. I just want you to listen and just like, okay, I'm here for you. Okay, I'm here for you. That's all. That's all I ever wanted. I know the feeling you have of telling yourself to things done and it doesn't do itself. It doesn't do itself. No, things don't get done itself. Sometimes I wish I dream a genie or bewitched, I just wiggle my nose and it get done. But wouldn't that be nice?
That would be nice, but
But if a friend is struggling, just listen. Usually if they're a friend, you'll know right away.
yeah.
You know right away. Even if it's just in a chat like this, you'll know it right away. Just by their verbiage, just by what they say, what they do, how they react to comments. You'll know it right away. If you talk to somebody, like you were saying, meet somebody and you meet them once a month, you'll know right away. When you walk in there and you look at her, you know right away, don't you?
Yep.
I wish more friends and family would see that you need mental health. Yes. That's kind of, it's getting better, but it's considered a cuss word kind of still. And that's a shame.
Mm-hmm.
That's a shame. Mental health. Yeah. But it's also part of self-care. It is. Because it's all works together. We did skincare. We did hair care. That's great. But it's, the mind, and even Echo was saying, I feel dry today. Put some lotion on. Self-care. It does, it can be the littlest things. It can be the littlest things. You know what I mean? So, yeah. But if people reach out, or if you see something or hear something, reach out to them. It doesn't have to be a big thing. I've reached out to people, in Texas, texting, and I'll just send them a heart. And I think if they want to reach out to me, I'm there. I'll just send them a heart, just like I'm thinking of you. And sometimes that's all it takes.
Yeah.
And then the floodgates will open. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people in those kind of situations, they don't want to be a burden to somebody else. And they're like, well, gee, I just don't want to bother anybody, or whatever. And just to know
And
that
everybody else has problems. Why are my problems such a big deal? Yeah.
But sometimes just to know that somebody sees you and is available makes a big difference, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
There we go.
There we go. You definitely have to love yourself. It's not selfish. Can't love anybody else if you don't love yourself. You really can't.
So, what did you think of that one? What did you think of that?
Excellent.
Was it
love
okay?
how the more research, the more we're like right on track. It's like we get it. You've got to do certain things if you want to be a whole healthy human.
And it takes it all. It takes all of it. It's not just mental. It's not physical. It's not how pretty your hair is or how pretty your skin is, or it's the whole kit and caboodle. A bit of encouragement or kind words can make you smile for the rest of the day. Yes, it can. I don't know who you are, but I like you.
Yeah.
I don't know where you came from, but I like you, Steve.
Yeah, Stephen, thank you for joining us, and please come
I've been
back.
reading your comments.
Um, but I think a lot of when you're healing, whatever it is you're healing, you will find out you have other things that you can work on as well.
Right.
And the more you work on things, the easier it gets to work on things. So, I mean, for a long time, I was scared about what am I going to find out if I look at it? You know, I just don't want to look at it. And it was the best thing I could have ever done. But a lot of things can work together and make you feel better as a whole person. And I think that's where we mess up sometimes is we think about our physical health or we think about our mental health, but we don't think about us as a whole person. And
Yeah.
it's your relationships, it's, you know, your job. There are so many things that can bring you stress and anxiety and just worry. And you
And
have
just
to,
daily. It happens on a daily.
yeah. And
Yeah.
it can be the slightest little thing. I'll find myself sometimes worrying about, like, somebody will say something, and I'll be like reacting like I used to react to things. And
Right.
it's like I have to like stop myself and be like, okay, wait a minute. Let's really think about this. You know, is
Yeah.
what they said really what they meant? And why are you taking it the way you're taking it? And why are you feeling the way you're feeling?
Yeah.
And okay, is this
I
worth
do that
your
knee jerk thing.
time?
I
You
do that
know?
knee jerk thing. As soon as
Yeah.
I go right back into habit. And then
Yeah.
I'll sit back, and I've talked to Seventh about this, and I'll sit back and okay, give me another hour or two, and I'll think about it again, and think about it again. And all of a sudden I'm like, I don't think that's really what they meant. But yeah,
And
it
I
hit a
think
nerve.
too, you know, your reaction isn't always because of what just happened. You
Mm-mm.
know, you could already be going through something or feeling some kind of way, and then something happens, and you're like, all that energy is going to react to that one thing that isn't even really deserving of all that. And then you have to stop and think, like, okay, why am I letting this upset me? Does this? And my one of my favorite things to do is a year from now, is it going to matter? No,
Right.
because I've been a year back, I've been 2 years back, you know, and I'm like, the things I've done in the past 2 years, I can honestly say have made a difference. Now,
Right.
is this going to actually make any kind of difference in my life? No. Okay, why are you worried about it?
Well, mine was a lot of things, like people would say things and they don't mean it. I mean, they're just chit chatting and texting and in the chat. But it was comments that people have said to me, uh, and so it triggers. It
Yeah.
triggers that. Ugh, that. Ugh, okay, well, okay. I don't know why you said that, but And then I realized they don't. They don't know they triggered me. They don't know. That's not what they meant by that. You know. So,
Isn't it funny though
but
how
it's my baggage,
yeah,
not theirs. You
right.
know.
And how we have certain things that we don't want to talk about or we get uncomfortable about
Mm-hmm.
that nobody knows about you, right? And so you're over here all in your feelings about something, and people are like, well, what happened to her? You know, it's like,
Right.
nobody said nothing, you know, or whatever. And I've been in situations, and that's one reason why I don't really like the text thing, because I want to see somebody's reactions and their facial expressions, and,
Mm-hmm.
and I like react to a text, and I'll be like, oh, well, and I'll be typing away. And then all of a sudden I'll be like, wait a minute, go back and read that. And I will have misread the text to
Yeah.
where, I would have just about, you know, got in trouble with somebody because of what I thought they had said. All
Yeah.
right, the source, have a great day.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for
I,
the raid.
I don't really like to text. If I really have something I need to talk to somebody about, I'll be like, you got time? Can we like get together? Because I need to, see the person. But
See, and I'd rather text just because phone answering and answering doors is still.
Yeah.
touch with.
But I
that's
think
me.
a lot
That's
of times it's just like like it's your own thing. Like, I don't want to do that, or I
Yeah.
would feel better if we did it
Everybody's
this
different.
way, or whatever. I have a hard time though with certain people texting because I have a problem with that person. And
Okay.
so then I automatically have a problem with their text. And I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
what, like, what did I do now? Why are you,
Right.
So I do screen my calls. I do when I give out my phone number, I do tell people text me first
Yes.
before you call me because I may not pick up the phone. And I want to know who it is. And that's
And
just one
with
of my
texting,
things.
uh, Regina said it, but in texting, you can put in any inference you want to.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could put an inference of a smiling, a giggling, or you can put it where it's derogatory and it's the same exact sentence. So texting is a touchy thing. It is a touchy thing.
Yeah. Well, and I did something the other day. I was texting with someone and they decided to call me,
Hi, Peyton.
but hi Peyton, when they called, my ringer wasn't on. And
Uh-huh.
so I saw on the screen that the phone was ringing. I
Okay.
thought I had called them. So I hit hang up. And then
Uh-huh.
I texted, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Well, okay, that comment to them was, you just hung up on me and you didn't
Uh-huh.
mean to do that. I was apologizing for calling them, which I wasn't the person calling them. They were calling me.
Right.
And so it's like what I said was appropriate for me thinking I was calling them, but it was also
Right.
appropriate for me having hung up on them.
Right.
I'm like, okay, that was crazy. It's like, are
Right.
you calling me? Am I calling you? Why did my phone not ring then? And then I see my ringer is off. But it's just, you don't want people to get upset by something you said or did when you don't even realize what you're doing.
There's so much anger in the world anyway. We don't want people to get angry with a misspoken or misunderstood word. Yeah. There's
And
too
I've
much anger
I've
in the
had
world.
that too, where I've said something and then the person mistook what I was saying, and then they jump back on me saying, that's why I hate text, because people misunderstand. I'm like, wait a minute. Well, I didn't say
Right.
nothing, and it's like, oh, you misunderstood what I said, and you're thinking I misunderstood what you had said. No, I get what you said, but okay. So yeah, I would just as soon talk to somebody or see the person than to
Right.
leave it up to the texting thing, unless I don't like the person, and then I'm like, yeah, you go right ahead on and text, and then you
I
won't know
can't
what
ignore you
I'm
from
feeling.
here.
When I send you back the text, you won't know how I was thinking, what I was thinking, right? Oh, Newcastle, England.
What's about Newcastle, England?
That's where our new friend Stephen is.
Oh, Stephen, you're in England?
Cool. What
Okay,
time
give
of
me
day
your
is
address.
it
I'll
there?
be there. I'll be there in a week. I'm packing my bags right now, honey. No, I wouldn't do that to you.
You're right, Peyton. Accidents do happen. And I've actually hid people before on my phone because my finger got in between two things, and it's like, oh, I didn't mean to hide you. I'm sorry. That was a mistake.
Or how about this one, folks? The autocorrect.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, we can find some dangest things. I said, and I don't pay attention to it. I'm just typing it in, and I said, and I read back, and I'm like, what the heck was that? That's not even close to what I was thinking. I'm thinking enough as it is without you guys, without autocorrect helping me.
Yeah, and it can actually think you're wanting a bad word.
Yeah,
When you're not,
possibilities. It can find possibilities.
Yeah. It's
Oh.
technology is a wonderful thing, but it can
You
cause
gotta watch
issues.
it.
Definitely can cause issues. And I've done before where I've sent somebody a link to something and sent it to the wrong person or sent them
Oh
the
yeah.
wrong link, and it's like, oh my gosh, okay, how do you get out of this one now? It's like,
Uh-huh.
okay, well, let me just admit what I just did. I just accidentally, I didn't mean to send that to you, but I did. So
Oh,
yeah.
somebody wants a treat. Beans, did you
Hey,
want a treat?
Beans.
Beans, did you want a treat?
Hey. He says, I've been doing really good.
He's been really quiet, huh? Well, how long has it been? 2.5 hours. So okay, he's been doing really well. Autocorrect can cause me to enter the wrong word. Yeah, crazy or drunk. Exactly, honey. Easy. That's my
Did
boy.
you know? Well, I'm sure you know, but when your blood sugar is out of whack,
Uh
you
huh.
can appear to be under the influence of alcohol.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And I don't know how many times people were like, Echo, do you drink a little bit? Like, no, I don't. And they're like, are you sure? It's like, it's my sugar, but yeah, things can happen, and people can think you're drunk, or whatever.
My aunt was a diabetic, and she would get. We would go out to eat or something, and next thing you know, she is just drunk as a skunk. Just drunk as a skunk. Hadn't had any alcohol. And I'm thinking, honey, I think we need to get your machine and see what your numbers look like because you're kind of goofier than usual. you know?
Yeah.
But she was just loopy. Just loopy. Yeah. It's amazing because of
Well,
sugar.
and they
Alcohol is
actually,
sugar as well. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
and they actually say you shouldn't drive. Like when you're diabetic, you should check your sugar before you get in the car, because depending upon what your sugar is, it can change your reaction time, and just
Now,
like if you were under the influence.
I think some states will pull your license if they think if you're diagnosed as a diabetic. I think some states have that.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't realize, like you were saying, they were telling me I was drunk, but I wasn't feeling it.
Hmm.
You don't know. You don't know, you know. But
Yeah.
I've met people that can tell. They're like, ooh, I feel really lightheaded. You know what I mean? Yeah, but
Well, and that's the thing. That's why I still wear my sensor, because sometimes the opposite is true of what the symptoms are. So you think you're one thing, and then you correct, and then you were the opposite, and then you're really bad then. So yeah,
right.
they used to always say, don't ever, because when you hear somebody, oh, it's their blood sugar drop, give them some juice or give them a soda or whatever. And
Hmm.
if it's too high already, you don't want to give them more
Right.
sugar.
Then they're
And
going to
they would
shock.
always say, make sure you
Mhm.
check the sugar before you do that. And even
Right.
though I don't have to take my insulin, my sugar still could fluctuate. So that's why I like having my sensor, so
Yeah.
that I can just look at it and know. And sometimes it's like you feel like, okay, I'm low, and you look at it and you're low. And then the next time you're like,
Yes.
oh, it's a little high right now. And sure enough, it's high. So then you start thinking, I could tell the difference, and you can't.
Yeah.
Your body could react either way. And that's what gets people into trouble, because they stop checking, because they feel like, I know my body. Okay.
Yeah. Steve, I still haven't seen your address.
I know, and I asked what time it was there in England, because I
Oh
like
yeah,
to
what
know the
time is it
time
there?
difference.
What time is it there for you, honey?
We have friends that live in Sweden that are like 6 to 7 hours different than us. Mm.
And I have friends in Germany. I have friends in yeah, I all over the place. It's really nice. I love it. I
Oh,
love it. This is
10:48. So he is 5 hours ahead of us.
oh, okay.
Wow. Cool.
Yeah, Stephen, here, those kind of numbers, and I'm sure you know that, is only military talks in numbers like that in the U.S. Only the military. Us civvies talk 12 hours periods, but it's really easy to figure out.
Well, I knew 22 because that's what the time clock at Walmart is military time.
It's the 24-hour thing. Yes.
Mhm.
Which makes more sense. I don't know why we don't. I don't know why we don't.
I don't
You
know.
know, because literally, if it
Trying to
says
be different, I
48,
guess.
you really don't need the PM on it, right? Does that make sense? What I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
Oh, yeah. I
yeah.
mean, yeah.
But then
But
again, too, he probably has had people not know what the 22 meant. And so by putting the PM, at least, maybe they'll figure it out. I don't know. That's what's
that's
funny,
okay,
though.
Stephen. You're dealing with people from the U.S.
And we don't want to be like any other country, heaven forbid. So crazy. So crazy.
We say 10 to 11. Okay. Is that what time it would be? 10 to 11.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. 10 to 11. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
My daughter teaches third grade, and one of the things they learn in third grade is elapsed time. So they tell them, if you left at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and it takes you 3 hours to drive wherever, what time will it be when you get there? And it's like they can't 1 o'clock plus 3 hours. It's like
right.
1 plus 3 is 4. No, they don't get that.
Right.
And they normally don't get the quarter past or half past or any of those references either. So
yeah. Well, I think in where Stephen is, I think they say half past.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, when we say quarter after.
Yeah.
But
Or
anyway,
a quarter
that's
to
enough of that. I think this was a very good show, and thank you for having me on. I really enjoyed this show a lot. I hope everybody else did as well.
And I'm glad to see so many people in and out. That
I
always
know you got two raids
I
today.
know, that's so nice. I love
That's
it.
exciting. Very
Now,
thoughtful.
y'all go get you something to eat, take a potty break, and come back at 7 o'clock because Stephanie will be here and we're doing Bible trivia tonight at 7.
Quarter past. Okay. That
Yeah.
makes sense.
So that's only an hour from now. So y'all are more than welcome to come back and join us then.
Yeah. And thank you for sticking around, everyone.
Yeah.
I know some of you were new to this channel, and thank you for sticking around and at least dipping your toe in and seeing what it's about.
Yeah.
That's
We talk
wonderful.
about anything and everything here. We always have a topic, but we don't always stick to it. So you never know what we might be talking about.
Oh, and if you want to, Thursday is trivia night. Trivia afternoon, actually. So come by. Do some trivia. Do some brain teasers. Things like that. It's a lot of fun. 6 for me. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Come by. Swing by.
She's in Texas, so she's
Texas.
and she's in Central.
In
Texas.
I know.
All right. I think we'll go ahead and wrap this up. It makes sense what we were talking about. Well, good. I'm glad.
Well, we got lucky. It doesn't always happen.
All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and let us get on out of here, and I'll see y'all in about an hour.
And as I always say, try to make today just a little bit better than yesterday. I love you.
All right. Good night, y'all.